Oh, hey, bitch. Oh, excuse you. Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry in. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Yo, welcome and happy Wednesday. It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news, pop culture, hot topics, might get a little political. So that's a show for you. Definitely stick around because we got a lot of tea to spill today, including another studio. It seems like it's throwing their hat in the ring in regards to this whole Warner Brothers buyout situation. We'll get into that story. The director of Dream Warriors said that he wants Jim Carrey to play Freddy Krueger in a new Elm Street movie. Plus, we got news on Friday the 13th. The TV series Crystal Lake has wrapped filming. Laurence Fishburne is throwing his hat in the ring, saying he wants to play Professor Xavier in the MCU X-Men reboot. Sarah Michelle Gellar is getting a little more insight into playing Buffy, saying she never thought the day would come when she would actually grab the stake and play Buffy one more again. So we'll get into that. Plus, Debbie Harry is revealing which actor she wants to play her in a biopic. The NFL boss is coming out and he said that he is Team Bad Bunny. A lot of you maggots stay bad because y'all can come out with all the petitions y'all want, but he ain't changing. Bad Bunny is still going to be performing at the Super Bowl halftime situation in February. So suck it up, Buttercup. But we're going to get to that story and talk about it. Plus, Lizzo's being sued over a song she ain't even released. Make that make sense. So and then there's this recent story that's come out, and I know we mentioned this a couple of times on the show, or I may have had this conversation with Robert, friend to the show, many a times. But apparently, there is a new study that has gone around saying that Gen Z is not interested in sex, romance, or love triangles in their movies or TV shows. We'll get into that. So then we also got word on the curb was Diddy was stuck up with a blade up in the prison. Somebody was trying to knife him up. So we're gonna get into that story. Plus, we got news on David Geffen, his soon to be ex-husband. I don't know if the divorce has been finalized, whatever the case is, but apparently he dropped one of the charges or whatever against his man or whatever. We'll get into that. Plus, T.S. Madison and Jess Hilarious is still going at it. We'll get into that. Plus, the gays and days. It looked like Grindr. You in danger, girl, because it looked like the gays and days are done with y'all asses. So we're gonna get into that and a whole lot more. So before we get to those topics, if you could please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Excuse me. Um, Once I'm done with the show, you already know I'm put the timestamps in. I've actually figured out to do it the better way because I was like, wait a minute, why am I putting these timestamps in and it's not showing the cut up thing? So I finally figured it out. But nevertheless, the timestamp's going to be in there for people who want to watch the playback and just go to some of the clips instead of having to do what the normal people that always come in, the regulars that just want to sit through all the banter, chime in through the show on the commentary along with me or commentate along with me. If that's not a word, I just made it up. Commentate along with me in the situation. And yeah, so there's that. I see a couple of y'all in the building. We'll get to those comments right after the first topic. So without further ado, let me hit my banner. Wait, hold on, because I already realized I have my YouTube video open and I want to hear myself on the feedback. I usually have to listen to myself when I do the edits after the show. But anyway, let's get into our first topic. And let's talk about this whole situation regarding Netflix. Word on the curb is that Netflix is looking to throw their hat in the ring in regards to this whole Warner Brothers situation. Now, earlier I had found out, and I'm so glad that this is continuing to happen, and I really hope that Warner Brothers continues to not let them go in and let have. Paramount apparently has, well, Skydance. Word on the curb is because the man that runs it, his father is a huge Trump supporter. And already with them buying up Paramount, we already see what y'all trying to do. When you buy up Paramount, some of the type of stories that they want to be told may lean a certain way because of political affiliates. And with these billionaires and these oligarchs, they want to buy up the media. They're already buying up our government. Now they move into the media. And when they move into the media, it becomes a situation where they want to be able to control the type of information that we get. Hence, why they got Bari Weiss Zionist ass running CBS now. Remember, once upon a time, that bitch was trying to get a job over at The View, but she lacks an actual personality, so she never got the job. I think it ended up going to Alyssa Farrah Griffin. But yeah, she was one of the girls that wanted to try to succeed Nutmeg McCain and didn't have the chutzpah, since she Jewish, I'm gonna use a Jewish term, and she wasn't able to get people. She wasn't that interesting. She wasn't clicking with the girls or whatever the case was. She's a freaking nutbag. So now they got her running CBS. And now with the ink ain't even dry over there at Paramount. And now you got the Adelsons over here trying to buy up media and everything over at Warner Brothers. But now I found out they tried to bid 3 times and Warner Brothers said, no, no, no. So keep your foot on that whole situation. We don't need them buying up more of our media, because if they do get their hands on Warner Brothers Discovery, you already know, guess what media conglomerate they're going to get their hands on? Guess what news situation, even though I don't particularly care for them, and a lot of what they be doing over there, especially when they got that smug moron that's always on that black lady panel show. CNN is owned by Warner Brothers. So you buy up Warner Brothers and they're talking about splitting and all this other stuff. They get their hands on CNN. What type of propaganda you already think they're gonna be trying to push? You already got a lot of these liberal type of shows, especially with CNN trying to have these psychopathic GOP nutbags that sit and just drink the orange turds piss and keep it on tab. You already got them tucking on all these other shows. So seeing, oh, let's play that. Fuck that. I ain't playing nice with you people. And I'm not gonna give you all platform. Go over there to Fox and with the propaganda. But CNN is just, they get on my damn nerves. So I don't watch them anyway, but I will say that for those older people that watch that network, y'all don't be needing to have these corporate oligarchs trying to own up all of media and monopolizing our media spaces. And then there's only a certain type of stuff that's only going to be pushed out, especially like with Pam Abdi and Mike DeLuca and the great job they've been doing so far with, this year with a lot of the product that's been coming out with Warner Brothers. A lot of the movies that have been coming, there's been a diverse kind of movies, especially in the horror genre. We don't want them coming in trying to be like, well, we just want to we're not going to allow diversity. Ryan Coogler can't make another movie over here because he's putting things out here about slavery and it's making us white people feel away. Like, we don't need all of that coming over here, because that's what that will give if those nutbags that are cut to Trump and are like best friends with him want to start pushing their agenda in our media. So we don't want that. So I had to put all that out there before we get into this. But now come the word is Netflix is talking about they want to buy a Paramount, or they throwing a hat in the ring. So this is according to Comic Book Movie, by the way. So back in June, reports emerged that Warner Brothers was planning a restructuring that would see the company split into one company would contain a studio and streaming assets, which would be HBO Max, with sidebar. Warner Brothers, y'all done pissed me off, because I just heard that effective immediately, they already started raising the prices on HBO Max. I wonder how much that's going to cost for me in the bundle, because I already had it because it's part of the bundle, and I got to sit up here and untangle this damn web. I know people are mad about the whole Disney thing, Hulu, whatever, but I have to hit Disney, Hulu, and HBO Max bundle. Now I got to sit and untangle all of that because everybody want to protest over Jimmy fucking Kimmel. When what's the point of me even canceling when I just heard the numbers doubled once he got his job back? So was this like fake protesting? So y'all stopped it, but then when Jimmy Kimmel got his job back with less than a month, y'all went right back to subscribing. I would have still kept the foot on the neck. But my thing is, I've already got my stuff tangled up in the situation. I'm already pissed because I already said I'm this close from starting to do some illegal things online and start bootlegging certain shows and things, because I'm like, y'all getting ridiculous. Now I'm paying $32 for the bundle for HBO Max, Disney Plus, and Hulu. $32 for the bundle. For why? And now y'all want to raise the price again? So how much is that going to cost me next month? Because you just raised the price this month. I just paid the bill today. I checked my account. It said $32 was taken out of my goddamn account. I was like, shit. And I had to go food shopping. So, I mean, I still, my coins is my coins and my coins is good. But I'm just saying, like, come on now. Like, I definitely understand, like, people are struggling out here even me, I'm like, I've been tightening my purse a little bit. I'm like, "Damn." Like I'm starting to think like y'all doing too much with these, and y'all not even giving. It's not even worth the juice is not worth the squeeze in so many ways with the way y'all raising these damn prices. So yeah, so to get back to that, because I had to go on that side tangent about HBO Max, because y'all done pissed me off, because that just reminded me of this morning. So HBO Max, Warner Brothers Television and Motion Pictures and DC Studios. So that's one thing. Then you have the other side, which would be the linear cable networks, which I just mentioned, CNN, and you got TNT, Discovery, etc. So now they're trying to split the whole situation. They're talking about they want to complete the splitation by mid 2026. So shortly thereafter, a newly merged studio, Paramount Skydance, backed by Oracle founder Larry Ellison, emerged as a likely candidate for the purchase of WB studio and streaming assets. On the heel of that news breaking, stock prices for both companies surged. So I'm wondering if y'all doing all this because y'all know y'all playing around and y'all this is like some way y'all can continue to get the stock prices to go up. Because this is like a little scam that Trump and them was pulling in the beginning of the first 6 months of this year, where it's like he would do this little thing and then all of a sudden the stocks would surge and then he would go back and do it again. So now this says that it seems there's another contender joining the race, according to Puck, none other than Netflix. However, fans are somewhat worried about the news as Netflix is definitely a streaming first, theatrical release second kind of film studios, which could lead to DC Studios becoming a streaming only brand. And here's the thing. I would worry about that too, because here's the thing when it comes down to Netflix is all about quantity, not quality. I can't tell you like when you go on there, I will admit I get overwhelmed with the amount of product that's up there. And a lot of times y'all don't even promote the stuff that's up there. I'll be like, wait, when did this movie come out? Wait, when did this show start airing? Like, y'all are horrible at marketing. And I know marketing is not an easy thing to do, but at least if you don't know how to market your stuff, hire somebody who has a sense of understanding how to market movies or shows, whatever. Have them try to bring that ideology that you learn from old school marketing and bring that into the whole digital situation, what you're doing over there. It's like even with Netflix, they still be trying to fight with wanting to put their stuff in movie theaters. Frankenstein, I'm still trying to see that in the theater before it comes to Netflix. And I heard it's out, but I don't know any theaters that's shown it. And I've been looking as an A-list member. I've been looking and I don't be seeing any of the theaters that's airing it. Also, we just heard that yesterday we talked about it, but they said like after kind of being against it, they're now releasing the finale episode of Stranger Things in theaters. I don't know if they haven't dropped the dates yet, but I guess we'll have to worry about that in is it 2026? No, because I think isn't New Year's like when the finale comes out? So around that time, probably I'll probably work in the Fish concert because they come to Madison Square Garden every damn year. So more than likely, I'll be spending New Year's doing that, and I won't be able to see the finale, except on my TV. But for the most part, they're doing that, and then K-pop Demon Hunters. It's like they had waited until literally K-pop Demon Hunters became so successful that they're like, oh, so then let's just release a sing-along version. Motherfucker, you should have did that from the beginning. All that money y'all just be throwing away. Because Chris Sarando's fighting so hard to try to be like, no, we don't care about the old guard or regards of movies and things of that nature. But statistics have shown that when you release something in a movie theater and it comes to streaming, that piques people's interest to want to see it because people in their minds still believe that movie theaters there's a sense of regard for movie theaters. Yeah, I don't want to go into movies because tickets is too damn expensive. Concessions is crazy expensive. People be mad disrespectful when you go into the movies. They want to be on their phone. They up in there talking. They doing this. They bringing fucking babies in an R-rated movie. So people don't want to be dealing with all the other stuff that has to do with the movies. But if it was released in the movies, people will actually be like, you know what, I'm going to check that film out rather than something that goes straight to streaming. They're like, okay, that's giving straight to DVDs. And that's basically the attitude of when you get a movie straight to streaming. It is the new equivalent of straight to DVD. It's no shade. It's just the way people's minds is wired. So there's that. But I did read that with all this being said, Wait, let me get through the article, and then I'm gonna tell you what Chris Sarandon said. So now they said, yeah, Paramount Skydance is expected to put in a full cash offer, something that reportedly greatly interests WBD CEO David Zaslav. On the flip side, Netflix has been open about its strategic shift from having just a lot of content to building a library of powerful franchises, said CEO Ted Sarandos previously. You need a lot more than just a big hit every once in a while. It's not about the single hit. It's about a steady drumbeat of shows and films and soon enough games that our members really love and continue to expect from us. And then I also heard, look, Netflix is about to give YouTube some competition because I heard that they now going to they're starting to look into doing podcasts on Netflix. So I guess the talk shows are going to the trash, and now they're gonna give people like I guess myself. I get a big enough audience. They'll be hitting me up being like, "So you want a show over at Netflix, bitch? You think? I bet depending on the price, I'm I'm like, I don't think I'll be turning that down. I'm like, okay, when and where? And if the studio was in New Jersey, oh, I'd definitely be going over there to do this show because that is the goal. It's like a lot of us do this. Well, I'll say for me, I do this, but eventually I want to have my very own late night talk show. I got the idea, I got all the stuff up in my head, very much like a fun, let's have a good time, interview celebrities and LGBT, all the mess that we bring, a little bit of Wendy Williams, a little bit of Howard Stern, a lot of this mess and this mouth, and we go in and let happen on Netflix. I feel like you can pretty much it's a big free for all. There's not a lot of rules when it comes to like Netflix and what you can and cannot say and doing stuff on there. But yeah, but look, if they get their hands on it, they get their hands on that tight ass Harry Potter franchise, the Lord of the Rings, and a bunch of other things that they get a part of. But I did hear that Ted Sarandos says that they have no interest in securing the rights to Warner Brothers. They're not interested in putting their hat in the ring. So all of this, according to Puck, and Puck has been pretty on point with a lot of stuff they're saying. But Ted Sarandos said that's not what they're interested in. Now he could be lying. But I'm gonna take his word for it, and I'm actually hoping that this is true because I think it would be a bad idea. And as much as all that stuff that they have on Netflix, I like watching a lot of the old movies. Like I just recently started rewatching the Maze Runner, which I forgot how good those movies was. I remember when I worked at AMC, I watched them, but I hadn't seen them in so long, and then I started watching it, and now they done kidnapped Mino, and we gotta find out if Thomas and them get him back. Look, I done forgot about what happened in the Death Cure. So now that's the next one I gotta watch. But Netflix be having some good old nostalgic movies and things on there that I just be like, yeah, I be enjoying it and stuff. And then they be having some good stuff. They have good Korean action movies, good Korean horror movies, a lot of old school horror movies. It's a lot of having to sift through all the mess to find something interesting. And they have some good shows for the most part. The movies, the original movies, is like not really. There be every now and again you'll find a diamond in the rough, but for the most part, a lot of their straight to original films have been trash. But um, I don't want them to get it. Now, if there was anybody that I would like to see put their hat in the ring, I would think it would be Apple TV, no longer Plus. They're now Apple TV. And I think it's because Apple TV, I feel like will leave everything intact. If you go and with these other people, there'll probably be massive layoffs. Because I'm sure when Skydance bought up Paramount, there was massive layoffs before, and now there will be more massive layoffs at Warner Brothers. People are already losing their jobs and stuff as it is, not getting their employment, and I mean unemployment, all the mess. This country is a fucking disaster under this administration. That's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. But and with Trump destroying the White House to build this stupid ballroom, it is such a metaphor for where this country is right now. If that is not telling on like the overall, like this is a real metaphor for this man is a walking disaster. I don't know what to tell you, but I would like to see Apple TV take it over only because of what they did with F1. They, joined forces with F1, did the distribution, put a lot of money into the thing. I heard the budget was $300 million, and it did relatively well. And even if the movie didn't do well, they're like, whatever, they can eat the money because Apple is not Apple. The movies part of Apple is not where they make a lot of their money from. So they just could throw money at something and be like, okay, we'll leave y'all alone. We'll give y'all a couple of $1 million. go in and let have. They make their money from all their gadgets, the phones, the tablets, all the other things that they have going on. So that's where the Apple makes their real money. It ain't about with the whole movie thing. So if they kind of came in and did with that whole situation, I feel like they'd be a lot safer under them versus a Netflix, which to me, I feel like Netflix doesn't really care about cinema. They kind of show it in their actions. So I don't think they really care. I don't want Paramount to get it. You already know why I said it in the beginning of the show. Don't need to repeat it. But for the most part, I am hoping that I mean, eventually it is look, it's a publicly traded company. It's bound to happen. I just hope it ends up in the right hands and not in the hands of them people over there at Skydance, simply because of the political agenda they have with trying to buy up a lot of what is perceived as liberal media, be it cinema and our news companies. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Do you believe that, or would you even want Netflix to get their hooves on Warner Brothers catalog? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so now let's see what the peoples are saying. Cleveland's in the building. Are you congested? Oh, I sounded right. Yeah, because I noticed I was sniffing a lot. I was eating a salad. That was what I had for dinner. Because then I started getting back in the gym. I was like, okay, it's time for me to change my diet. So I've been eating a lot of salads and things. And salads have been, child, let me tell you, I went food shopping, so the salad is fine with me buying it. But when I've been buying salad from like the salad spots in the city, why are them damn things so expensive? It's like $20 a damn bowl with all the taxes. And then they got the nerve to ask me for a damn tip. But because I be feeling mad guilty regarding the being in the once upon a time being a part of the service industry and food and all other stuff, I'd be like, okay, let me just give them a tip. But if I'm doing my own order on the machine and they got a nerve to ask me for a tip, I'm like, the fuck out. Like, if I'm literally using a machine to put in my order, why am I tipping the machine? You don't need my money. So I hope I'm not getting sick. But yeah, I've been noticing like my nose has been a little congested. So Sony is back, but I still have the stuff you gave me. I ate on them peanuts, but I do have the third. Is that Sony is making a deal with Universal Pictures and Universal Music, Spice Girl Masters, to the actual reason to get Spice World back on Netflix. But look, I haven't seen that movie in a while. So if they wind up making deals of getting things, we haven't seen, um, then I'll be willing to watch it. What are we, Japanese today? Meaning a song, konbanwa, means good evening, everyone. Okay. It said knife, Diddy, but not. Okay. They probably got his ass in solitary. But look, they probably, I already said, they gonna get Austin Woe like they got that lead singer from what's his name, from Lost Prophets, that pedophile child. They got him one time, but they didn't kill him. They got him. You knew they was gonna get him eventually. Not Diddy getting dealing. Child, I can't wait to get to that messy story. They said they admitted they thought Spice Girls had no impact, like Madonna, Britney, Kylie, and Michael Jackson, but they learned that after the success of Victoria Beckham documentary. Why would they think that they wouldn't have that success? Like, a lot of people have been wanting to fight tooth and nail to get the Spice Girls to do a reunion tour. And I had to cackle because Victoria had the nerve to fix her mouth to say, oh, I can't do a Spice Girl reunion because I can't sing. I'm like, sis, you was in that band like damn near 30 years ago, or maybe you was even 30 years ago, and because it was 95 when they broke out, right? And you probably were together. Well, I think you were together before, but technically, when y'all blew up and with the first album was like 35 years ago, or 30 years ago. But anyway, um, you not being able to, when does that ever stop anybody from getting up on the stage and doing a show? There's a lot of y'all faves that couldn't hold a note live without the backing track and all the bells and whistles, and that ain't never stopped they ass from going on a tour. So that's an excuse, sis. Spice Girls are impactful and did impact the generation, inspire artists, both girl groups, solo acts, and Levitical millennials. Yes, we're gonna speak that into existence from YouTube to Netflix. I love Maze Runner too. I was like, I felt like people was hating on the movies as they progressed, but I was like, all that damn running y'all had Dylan O'Brien doing in that show. And speaking of which, I want to see him in that new movie. I forget what it's called. It's like Castaway meets Misery, and he's in there with Regina George. I forgot her actual name, but yeah, Regina George from Mean Girls. And they stranded on the island together. I was like, oh, that movie look good. That one, and there's this movie called Primate. Oh, I can't wait to see that. That looks so cheesy, but it looked like a whole lot of fun. With his chimp gets bit. It's literally like Cujo, but with a chimp. That's basically what it is. So this pet chimp that this girl owns gets bit by, I think, gets rabies, and it goes crazy. Oh, I can't wait to see that movie. I'm not tipping you for for checking me out. That's what I said. I'm not tipping no damn machine. Fuck out of here. If I had to do my own order on a machine, and then you gonna have the nerve. Do you want to tip who? Why am I tipping Mr. AI? Why am I why am I tipping Rosie? That was a Jetsons reference. So Netflix is also congested, but we okay. Did she? Oh, send me that. Um, Cardi B address on my oh yeah, because I'm child. Don't even get me started on her. And I ain't talking about Cardi. My mom just be flip flopping. I'm like, oh, so because when you was in the compound and you was good Judy's with Cardi, and I'm not saying you gotta be biased and stuff, but this is why I don't want to be friends with a lot of these celebrities. Because what you're not going to do is befriend me just because you want me to do your dirty work or you want me to just kiss your ass and say nice things about you. And so now, not 52 teeth. You said you boy PF still marketing his AW content. Wait, who's PF? That name is not clicking. Oh, you talking about PFH? Child. Well, you gotta get your money somehow. And that is funny. Well, look, them 52 teeth, he did pay for them. So Victoria, I can't sing everybody duh. No duh. That's not why they come to see it. Okay. They like we can't see you because you was up there just posing and looking posh. Hence your name. We ain't come for the vocals. If we wanted to hear vocals, we would just let Melanie C handle everything. It was Melanie C, it was Baby Spice, and it was Mel B. They were the core three they were the three with the best voices. Because Mel B, she basically just gave bass. She was basically like Lance Bass. She just gave baritone. And then you had Baby Spice. She had the little high voice, well, very girly, very, very cool. She could cool, be sexy, whatever. Melanie would sing down. Melanie C. Ginger was just there. And, girl power and pose and do all that other mess. And Victoria was Victoria. So we didn't go to you for the singing. Carter was on Spaces, but you can't get the playback. Armand are able. Well, you know what? I'm going to search for it because I'm sure it's going to be out there. I will check it out after the show. And I wonder if, look, it'd be even messier if Armand decides to do a whole video on it. Yeah, because he said something or another that she's not a nice person, that she's very rude or whatever the case is. So he said a whole lot of stuff about her. But meanwhile, you out here licking Nikki ass when you was going in on her too. This is why I can't with the whole we already know his whole shtick is basically just I can only talk about rap girlies. That shit is only cute for a moment. It's like, but you got to be able to diversify your portfolio if you're gonna be up on here doing entertainment news. You can't just sit and hyper focus on one particular thing and think that's just going to continue to give you your coins. I mean, but if that's the way that you feel that is going to get you your coins, you keep doing it. But this whole female rap beef shit is going to get old real quick. And shout out to Bia because her album flopped. We've heard that today, and somebody was like, "We need a new video from the spirit." She said, "I'm gonna leave you alone because this is your album release." And now they was out here talking about that Bia's album flopped. hmm Which ladies do he know? I don't think he knew. He don't know Nikki personally. He knew Cardi because they was kiki buddies. Then he had a falling out with her. He had a falling out with Jason Lee. He had a falling out with the what was that other show that he was on? TGIF. Well, he was on there for 5 minutes. But anyway, let me stop talking about these other YouTubers. I don't particularly care about them. I'm over here doing my own thing. But I definitely want to check out that video of what Cardi had to say, because she be going in when she need to. But anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about some Freddy stuff. So, the director of A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors, which I have to say is literally one of my favorite out of the franchise. Like, I love the first one, of course. The first one, the original, always be what it is. The redheaded stepchild, of course, is A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge. And I know people have issue with it because of the whole gay storyline, whatever the case is. But back in the day, people didn't like it, but now it's got a soft spot. I love the film. Shout out to the director, I mean, the actor that played Jesse. Definitely love that movie and all the gay undertones. They ain't so subtle if you watch the movie now, but back in the day, I don't think a lot of people saw it. But there's been many allegories on it, and I actually hope one day that they remake it and really go in with the queer allegory within that film. But one of the best, my favorites is Dream Warriors, because I felt like they truly understood the essence of Freddy. It was so like, yeah, Freddy is powerful in his dreams, but also if as a person, you can be powerful in your dreams too, if you know how to control it and go in and do all this other stuff. I hated I'm gonna say part four wasn't so bad, but I did dislike part four because A, Patricia Arquette didn't come back. So they brought in some new chick, which she was a terrible actress, no shade. But the way y'all just kind of threw away Joey and Kincaid in that movie because y'all wanted to bring on these new generation of kids, and then um the actress that played um Patricia Arquette's character, it's like when she did, I'm like, girl, as she's toasting to death. I'm like, okay, that whole scene pissed me off. But for the most part, I was just like, okay, four is tolerable, but it wasn't my favorite. Rennie Harlan also directed that, which word on the curb is because I ain't seen not one of them yet. He basically ruined the Strangers franchise because them last two movies that came out that he did, oh, everybody hates those freaking movies, and they got a nerve to make a third one. They made all three of them together, which I know Lionsgate is mad about that because y'all are losing so much money by greenlighting three movies that shouldn't have been greenlit in the damn first place. Y'all should have took a page out of Blumhouse's handbook. And yeah, there was an initial plan for them to do a three-parter with Halloween, but they were like, let's see what works and what doesn't with the Halloween 2018, and then we'll go in and make the other two movies. Yeah, them other two movies was polarizing after the fact, but at least they took a risk and they were like, you know what? Let's just wait and see how well the first one does, and then we'll move forward with the other stuff. They ain't do that with these Strangers movies. They just decided, oh, let Rennie Harlan direct all three. Let's make these movies, and everybody was mad about the last two that came out. And they had the nerve to put out a trailer for the third one. Like people gonna be excited to see that mess. I say at this point, just put that shit on streaming and call it a day. Just get a tax write-off, do what you do. But then again, I don't think you get tax write-offs if you release the movies. It's got to be like Batgirl, like you got to throw it away and be like, we'll get the tax write-off that way. But anyway, so with all that being said about my gripes with A Nightmare on Elm Street, the director of one of my favorites, because I can't believe that movie came out like the first one came out like four decades ago because it came out in '84. So I was saying, so Chuck Russell, who was the director and co-writer of On Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors, which is a fan favorite, is interested in returning to the world of Freddy Krueger, especially if he can reunite with stars Patricia Arquette and Robert Englund. Well, I would love for her to come back, even though they did kill her character off in part four. And they got some great one-liners in for that movie, like "Welcome to prime time, bitch." That line is iconic. And then with Joey, what's the matter? Feeling a little tongue-tied? Like there was so many funny one-liners in that movie that I just lived for. And plus, Laurence Fishburne was in that movie too, which we're about to get into a story with him later on in the show. So I think he was Larry back then. But anyway, so he said, I'd love to do another Elm Street if there was full support of. Wait, hold on. Let me put the picture up. So I found a picture of Jim Carrey in the whole Freddy Krueger regalia. So yeah, Chuck Russell said, "I love to do another Elm Street if there was the full support of everybody." This is what he told Dread Central's Development Hell podcast. Patricia Arquette has said she'd like to do it again in the press. Very interesting because she didn't talk about it a lot earlier in her career. She was so terrific and went on to have such a great career. I think that's a good idea too. He continues, I still think Robert for me is the only Freddy. Were I to be involved in a new Elm Street, A, I'd be delighted, and B, my first goal will be to get Robert involved. Well, Robert has spoke about this already and said that he's ready to move on. He is way too old to be doing all them crazy stunts and this, that, and the other in the movie, which I said, like, look, have him come in, do the put him in the makeup, the glove, all that stuff, have him deliver the iconic lines. And if you need to, have some people step in. Y'all could do the whole thing of you digitally imprint his face on the stunt people's faces to make it look like he's doing it. There's so many tricks of the trade, but then all that could be expensive, which is why when they talk about there's sometimes them not having the budget to de-age certain actors because that would be a very expensive. But I don't think it would be expensive to take someone's face, like take a whole and then put it in the computer and then just digitally add it to um the stunt guys so it looks like that's Robert doing all the crazy stuff. So age does play a factor in a lot of that stuff. And also I would like to see her come in. But if y'all bring Patricia Arquette back, you better bring back Heather Langenkamp because y'all done killed her off in that movie too. And that's another thing about part three I didn't like. Y'all went and killed off Heather Langenkamp. Who she play? Nancy. Y'all Nancy Thompson. Y'all killed her off. So that pissed me off. I'm like, oh, you better bring her back. I mean, we did bring her back in New Nightmare, where she had Miko Hughes as her son, which I love that movie. That was like the movie within the movie where she was playing herself. So they said Jim, in my opinion, this is what he's talking about, Jim Carrey. So they said, because he said he's not doing it. But they did, and I think they brought that up to him. But he also wanted to say that he thinks Jim Carrey, who he collaborated with on The Mask, could pull off the role. He said, Jim, in my opinion, will almost do anything if he puts his heart into it. For Jim to do it, we'd have to do something that was another leap in the Elm Street series, a little bit like what Wes did with his very meta New Nightmare. I think Jim would only consider it, and I'd only consider harnessing Jim if there was a bold new direction for Elm Street. Well, it seems like everybody won't get their hands. Oh, and also I forgot. He just recently directed a reimagining of the 1986 horror cult classic Witchboard, which I absolutely love. Shout out to Tony Katane because she's in that movie, and I love that one. You can probably watch that on, I think Prime Video has it, and also Shutter. You can watch it on there, and I wouldn't be surprised if Tubi got it because Tubi got every damn thing. That's another reason why I love that ad for that channel. That it's free and they got a lot of good gems, hidden gems that you can find on there. And I also heard this Witchboard movie is not that good. Shout out to Lee over at Drum Dubs. We have conversations back and forth every now and again. He basically did not give this a favorable review when he watched it a couple of months back. I do want to see it if it ends up on the streaming service finally, where I ain't got to pay money to rent it. I'll check it out, but I'm not paying for it right now. And now as far as Jim Carrey goes, I don't know if I would want to. I like Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey is look. He's already been doing. He's definitely reignited the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. He's been doing that, playing the villain. There's rumors swirling that he's going to be in the new live action Jetsons movie, which in 2025, why are we making a Jetsons movie? Like if this is back in the day when we had the Flintstones with John Goodman and Rick Moranis was in that too, right? Along with Rosie O'Donnell, like and Halle Berry. If y'all would have made the Jetsons back then, I think we would have been here for it. But if you make the Jetsons today, which yes, because of the retro futuristic look that we got from uh Fantastic Four, that would kind of work now because of that whole look that they had in there. But who was the Jetsons for? Like this new generation don't know nothing about that. Yeah, my generation does because it was an old cartoon that came out like way before I was born, and then I think they revived it in the '80s. So I do remember when I was a little kid that I would watch the old '80s version, like reruns or whatever the case was. I used to watch those when I was a kid. Me, George Jetson, here's boy Elroy, daughter Judy. Let's not forget Jane, his wife, where she basically he was giving her money out the wallet. She's like, "Fuck that! I'm gonna take the whole wallet and go about my day." So, um, I like the Jetsons, and I would definitely like to see a live action Jetsons movie. But I feel like y'all about 15 years too damn late with a Jetsons movie, and there's rumors swirling that he wants to be a part of that. Now, as regards of Freddy Krueger, I think y'all need to go younger. I like Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey is very animated when it comes to like his facial expressions and how physical he is with the comedy. And I've loved him ever since Living Color. Like Fire Marshal Bill is like one of my favorite characters that he's played on in Living Color. Also, uh The Mask, love that movie. Love Liar Liar. That movie still cracks me up to this day. Even though, yes, it's inappropriate. Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. I love that movie. So I am a huge Jim Carrey fan. For Freddie, no. I think y'all need to go rejudge, find somebody new to put him in there in that role because if Freddie gets revived, you want to be able to have someone play that character for maybe I don't know how many sequels y'all have down the road, maybe 3, 4, 5 sequels. You want to have somebody who's young enough that can carry on and play that role for years, not somebody who can do a one and done. Because you know how the fans are; they don't want a one and done. If the movie's good, they want more. So uh, I like the idea of I like Jim Carrey, but not for this. Go younger. And I know some people been saying Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon is probably around the same age as Jim Carrey. So no old people. You have to think about like, and this is no shade to the elderly, but you have to really think about age comes into a factor when you're playing this character and the amount of physical energy it takes to play the likes of a Freddy Krueger, especially when you're in that dream-like world or whatever the case. And remember, seeing the old movies, the amount of physicality that Robert Englund put himself through with making those movies. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Would you like to see Jim Carrey portray Freddy Krueger in a Nightmare on Elm Street reboot? Y'all already know my answer, so I want to hear from y'all. Let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. He said, no, 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 period. Heard in Dream Warriors, the producers wanted to fire Patricia Arquette because she had a bad day trying to act. Well, I'm glad they didn't fire her. Jim Carrey, no. Robert Englund finally receiving his star in the It was about damn time they could pull off the Jetsons' Rosie as Rose. Can you imagine they get Rosie O'Donnell to play Rosie? But Rosie lives in Ireland right now. I don't think she planned on trying to come back into New York. Also, meet myself and Irene. That was a good one. He said, yes, Jim Carrey would be excellent, but yes, you are 100% right. At this point, he's a bit old. England had voiced his opinion for Kevin Bacon years ago. I think he wanted him, but that was back then. I'm like, it's 2025. Kevin Bacon, as good as he looks, he ain't a spring chicken, so you got to think about all that too. And I like Kevin Bacon. All right, so now, wait, hold on. Look, don't throw your tomatoes at me, but I've never seen Once Bitten. I've heard about Jim Carrey being in it, but that's the one movie I've never seen. Oh, that's funny. So he's getting his start on the Hollywood Walk of Fame on Halloween. Now that's appropriate. Can you imagine if they would have did something like that? That would have been funny if they would have did that with Jamie Lee Curtis, because I'm sure she has one. But yeah. All right, y'all. So now, excuse me, let's go from Freddie to Jason. So I don't know if y'all been aware, but yeah, there has been a series version of Friday the 13th in the works called Crystal Lake, starring Linda Cardellini playing Mrs. Voorhees, Pamela. And I think it's supposed to be a prequel where it's mostly talking about like following her and her life and when she's at the camp and what had transpired before she went on that killing spree because they let Jason drown. So there's a whole thing that was behind it. I believe the person behind Hannibal was doing it, and then they didn't, I guess, like the direction or where they were going, so they got rid of him and they brought somebody else in. Well, now they went and announced on social media Brad Caleb Kane, who is a showrunner, and he did It Welcome to Derry. So he confirmed the news on Instagram. He said Crystal Lake, hold on, because I always forget. I gotta, we like context over here, so we gotta do a little picture. Picture the picture. So he said Crystal Lake Rap Party was epic, he writes. I'm madly in love with and totally in awe of this stellar bunch of artists and humans. A fella couldn't ask for a more talented and wonderful group of collaborators. S1, that would be season one, almost sort of not quite done and dusted. More please and thank you. The actor Cameron Scoggins shared his own IG post and said the following. He said, what a journey since June. To be part of Crystal Lake has been a dream of a lifetime. Thank you to A24 and Peacock for the opportunity. Thank you for the incredible crew for being the best group of people to be around every day. A huge thanks to the true maestro, Brad Caleb Kane, who has taken on this legendary franchise with such respect, wit, and infectious enthusiasm. Y'all ain't ready for what this man's about to give you. I can't wait for people to see this thing and for the fans of the franchise to get to spend more quality time with the beautifully colorful denizens of this infamously cursed town and its most famous undying resident. This was Scoggins adds in his Instagram update, saying, I have no idea when that will be, but for now, it's a wrap and my heart is full. Well, it's more than likely that Crystal Lake will be coming out sometime in 2026. Like if they were smart, I would literally drop it in like the spring, maybe early summer, because it's like, horror, whatever. But then again, summertime, everybody gonna be outside. So that might not be that might not be a good idea. I don't know. Maybe drop it in the fall. It's kind of like when I wonder we're getting the Buffy reboot too, but we'll hold off on that because I do have that story coming up too. So now we have Colin Vincent is playing a young Jason Voorhees in the series with, as I stated before, Linda Cardellini starring as Mrs. Voorhees. The series will serve as an expanded prequel to the 1980s slasher. Crystal Lake also stars William Catlett from 1001 Constellation, Devin Kessler, Cameron Scoggins, who's on Shades of Blue with Jennifer Lopez and Nashville, and Gwendolyn Sundstrom, Nick Cordelleone as Crazy Ralph. Remember Crazy Ralph? We're all doomed. You're all doomed. Like he was always doing it until Jason pretty much strangled him to death in part two. when he went back to the when he went back to Crystal Lake. So, then they have people who were in the original characters from the original Friday the 13th movie, which would be Danielle Koch as Claudette and Phoenix Parnevik as Barry, which I believe those were the two that was in the beginning of the original Friday the 13th, where they was hunching. And he was like, "We wasn't doing anything," and then he gets stabbed in the stomach, and it freeze frames on the girl before it showed the Friday the 13th stuff. So yeah, they have those characters in this show where we already know they fate in the original movie, but they have them in the show now. In At first, I was like, okay, I'm just looking forward to seeing like what this movie is going to be once it's released or whatever the case was. But from what I've been hearing, because Brad Caleb Kane, as I said, worked on It Welcome to Derry. So the actual embargo has lifted for It Welcome to Derry, because It Welcome to Derry, the season premiere is, I believe, this coming Sunday. And uh the reviews have come out and said that the show was actually pretty good. So I'm looking forward to seeing It Welcome to Derry when it comes out. Because they said it goes in regards of not only about the whole, how they play it up and how they edge us a little bit with Pennywise the clown showing up. Like that's not his only aesthetic that we see. You'll see different iterations of him popping up. And yes, we do have Bill Skarsgård coming back to reprise his role as the entity that's going around taunting these kids. But they also have like a lot of stuff that, black people dealing with racism, because of course, when you see in the time of what that is. So since they saying that It Welcome to Derry is actually getting great reviews, and I've been looking at a lot of the reviews on it. So I'm trusting that if this show is good, and y'all did a great job in regards of like bringing up the scares and all the other stuff, and also expanding Stephen King's idea in regards of the It universe and making it work for TV, then I trust that they definitely know what they're doing in regards to um this Crystal Lake show whenever it comes out. So I'm excited. 2026 can't get here fast enough because it seems like it's gonna be a lot of great things that we're gonna be getting next year in regards of entertainment, TV shows, movies, that sort of thing. So that's the latest on that. So I'm looking forward to seeing that when it comes out. But I want to hear from you all. What do you guys think of this story now that we all know that Crystal Lake has wrapped production? I just hope that, you know, it's gonna be good. And just hope it's good in the vein of like Bates Motel, because that was a show that I actually loved when it was on, where it was just like they expanded on the whole psycho universe and Norman Bates and his attachment to his mother and that sort of thing. I thought that was a really good show. So I just hope it's in that vein, but we just get a lot of blood and gore, especially since it's going to be on Peacock and A24 is behind it. And look, after the disaster that was the Smashing Machine, um A24 could use a hit right now. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, hold on, because I got to close up some things and then we'll see what the people are saying. You said gas clutching my pearls. His star. Okay. Now that's what I said on his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame is on Halloween. I was like, that's smart. That was actually smart they did that. I think the problem is most actors complain actors are coming from TikTok and Instagram. Let's gatekeep till real trained actors happen. Not only that, but I've been hearing like a lot of people are getting irritated because young people are like they're doing their shows like the way they film is not looking like the like this like horizontally or whatever, they're doing it vertically, so they don't like the shots with that where it looks like it's cropped down in the middle. I mean, on the sides. So they're not liking like that. And then also AI is taking over in regards of like the way that they're filming things now. So this is the new generation of what they're doing. They I don't feel like they have as much of a connection to cinema and acting and performance as we grew up, because those of us who are from a world of pre-internet, we appreciate all of that stuff. But these kids these days, the way they watch things on their phone, they just want everything to look like that. I'm like, no, even if I'm watching something on my phone, I got to turn it sideways so it fills out the entire screen. I don't want to look at something like this. I don't want to look at my phone this way. Like if I'm watching something, I want to watch it like I got to watch it this way, and that's how I be watching my movies. So, or like if, especially if I'm traveling or whatever the case is. So, I don't like this whole idea. It's like, look, but look, if you got the talent, if you got the wherewithal and all this other stuff, then if you're able to fulfill what you need to fulfill and come on set, you're professional, you know your lines, that sort of thing, then do that. But I don't think that TikTok stars or celebrities in that reign, I don't feel like that they put butts in seats in theaters because they don't. No, not Jason versus Chucky. That would be a disaster. It said, why aren't there more gays in horror movies? Also, me, OMG, the killer is hot. I mean, look, we have queer centered New Fest, I believe, is isn't it? Did it end already? Outfest, New Fest, one of them fest. Also, Queens of the Dead, which is a Tina Romero movie. George Romero's daughter directed a queer zombie movie. That's supposed to be coming out this week, in case y'all haven't heard. There's a lot of people in that. Wait, hold on, because I gotta look them up. I know Dominique from Pose is in that one, but let me look up. Not Queens of the Stone Age. Yeah, I saw the trailer. It does look a little bit cheesy, but I'll definitely want to say. So yeah, they got Katie O'Brien, who was in that movie with Kristen Stewart, and also she was in the last Mission Impossible movie. Then they got Jack Haven, Jaquel Spivey, Tomas Matos, who I actually saw on the train once, and I didn't even. I was like looking at it, took a second. I'm like, it's talking about all glammed out, looking very good. Dominic Jackson's in it, Cheyenne Jackson, Nina West, also Margaret Cho. So they got the who's who, the creme de la creme of queers in that movie. So we got some but I do agree, we do need more. I mean, there's some gay centric queer centric films that are on like Shutter. We've been aging waiting for it. Hello. It's like it's been 16 years since the last Friday the 13th movie's been in theaters, and that was the one with Jared Padalecki from Supernatural. I know what you did last summer, 2025. The acting was trash, and the dialogues of "Hello, Diva." Well, look. Mhm. It was giving very Gen Z, but it felt like it wasn't even like a Gen Z person wrote it. It just felt like someone who thinks they understand how Gen Z talks and they put it in there. Speaking of which, that remake, the reboot or whatever, requel, whatever you want to call it, of I Know What You Did Last Summer is on Netflix if you haven't seen it. All right, y'all. So now let's get back into the show. And let's talk about Lawrence Fishburne, who is throwing his hat in the ring to want to be a part of the MCU. He says that he wants to play Charles Xavier, Professor X, in the MCU's reboot of the X-Men. So the 64-year-old actor expressed his interest in playing Professor Charles Xavier slash Professor X in the Marvel Cinematic Universe's version of the X-Men during a Matrix reunion panel at Child, now I would have loved to have gone to that. A Matrix reunion panel at New York Comic Con on Sunday, saying, quote, I know what they're talking about. I know they're talking about the X-Men now. So at this point, I want one of two things. The first thing would be, what do you think about Lawrence Fishburne as Professor X? The question drew immediate cheers and applause in the crowd. Approved host Josh Harwitz, child, he is everywhere. Like he's just doing all that. He's Mr. Panel dude now. um, not that I'm hating because I like Josh Harwitz, but yeah, he's everywhere. So now the founder of Xavier's School of Gifted Youngsters, Professor Charles Xavier, is the leader of the X-Men and has telepathic abilities that allow him to control and read minds, create illusions, and generate psychic barriers. Well, hopefully they'll use him a whole lot more than what Brian Singer did, but I guess because he ain't looked 12 and he couldn't fuck him, that's why he pretty much just diluted a lot of the characters in that film, except Hugh Jackman. So it made him the like the central part of that freaking movie. And then they also said that so yeah, he's been played twice by Patrick Stewart, as y'all know, and then James McAvoy in the when they try to do him in the younger ages. So they said when it comes to his second dream role, Fishburne is a bit more flexible. He said, I don't know. I'm gonna let you guys decide. He confessed to the audience, I can't figure it out. However, when Horowitz suggested the idea of Fishburne potentially joining the Star Wars universe, the actor shot down the idea faster than not faster than Han Solo shot Greedo. He said, "No, I'm good. I'm watching everything. I'm watching every Star Wars. I'm in the middle of Rebels now, man. I'm good on the couch with Star Wars. I don't need a lightsaber. I don't pew pew. I don't need it." Okay, that's funny. But here's the thing. I'm with him on that because I'm gonna be honest. I ain't gonna hold you. Star Wars has been trash. Like ever, we haven't gotten a good Star Wars movie since Return of the Jedi, and that's no shade. I just feel like me growing up with A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. Those are like the triple trifecta of iconic Star Wars stuff. Post that when they try to do the young Anakin Skywalker stuff, has been trash. I ain't like none of it. Mandalorian, just the first two seasons good. Didn't like last season. I ain't really feeling. I ain't all that got high hopes for Grogu and the other one. I'm like, who's really gonna go to the movies and see that? I don't hear a lot of people talking about it, especially when we've been spoiled enough to watch Mandalorian and Grogu on our TV screens. Now we got to go to the movies and see this. It was a dumb idea on Disney Plus's part. And plus, the way that Kathleen Kennedy and everybody's been handling a lot of the Star Wars lore and everything as of late, it's been trash. Y'all already burned me wholeheartedly with Rise of the Skywalker. What the hell was that? I'm still mad about that damn movie. And I went to the movies to see that because it was my sister's birthday and she wanted to go see that freaking film. I was tight. The only good thing I liked about it was I liked the theater, the way it was the AMC was set up and they had the food that come to you and stuff. But other than that, I was so tight with that damn and now that you talk about they want to make a Ray film for why we don't want it. I like the actress that played Ray. No, we done with the whole. Y'all done burned that bridge. Y'all fucked that story up, and don't even get me started on Finn and Poe. Y'all messed that whole story up. Like Finn had the opportunity. Y'all had an opportunity to make him like this Jedi type of whatever, and then y'all. I blame J.J. Abrams. It's his damn fault. He fucked up that damn franchise for me. So yeah, can you tell I'm tight over Star? But nevertheless, it's like nope. Leave Star Wars alone. I think the smart thing on his part would be to Star Wars. Now, in regards to the whole thing of Professor Xavier, I would love to. I think. I mean, yeah, they could possibly go younger, whatever the case was. But was Patrick Stewart a spring chicken when he played the character? So I think in the MCU, I would definitely think it would be a smart idea to have someone like Lawrence Fishburne comes in. He has like this gravitas about him. I love his voice. It's very commanding. I don't know if I told y'all this story, but I actually met Lawrence Fishburne a million years ago back when I was in school. My teacher, Copper Cunningham, she was my teacher. She's also an actress. She was good friends with Lawrence Fishburne. So I remember like one day we all had like lunch or whatever, and he came out, and this was around the time when What's Love Got to Do with It was out. Or it might have been way after. And I remember one of my classmates came out and called him Ike Turner. He was it's Lawrence Fish. He said it's Lawrence. My name is not no Ike. And she felt the way. But I'm like, what you getting mad for? You calling him a character like he beating on women and shit. I'm like, no, he was playing somebody. He was not beating on Tina. That ain't Ike. I played Ike. I should have got an Oscar for playing Ike too. But just like Angela Bassett should have got a Oscar for playing Miss Tina. But yeah, so I was like, I remember we had lunch with him. He was lovely, like he's a real cool guy, whatever the case was. Once who broke the ice and he nipped that shit in the bud with some of y'all was trying him and my classmates. But he was a cool dude or whatever the case was. So that was a great opportunity where I got to actually have lunch with him and we got to converse about acting and a bunch of other stuff, which got me interested more into like the world of entertainment. This was like in the 90s. So and yeah, I think he was doing Riff Raff on Broadway with Heavy D. May he rest in peace. So yeah, I'm taking y'all way back. So, and this whole thing again, and I want to hear a goddamn word what y'all coming out. But uh, Professor X is white. Now, if y'all going to do that, then we need to have a white Black Panther. Here's what I got to say about all that. Now, there's no credence in the whole situation, especially when it comes to like comic books and we transfer into comic movie worlds. How many times have we have if you read a comic book, they've changed the race or the gender and all other stuff in certain things where they made certain characters for a certain period with a certain bunch of issues that whoever was running that issue, oh, we're gonna take this character, we're gonna make Iceman a homosexual. We're gonna make, I'm just saying, for example, we're gonna make Wolverine um this character, we're gonna make a black Wolverine or whatever case. Like there's times when you do race swapping and stuff when you're trying to tell certain stories. They even have a recent comic where they had a white Black Panther. So for the movies or whatever, I always say it's whoever is good for the job. It's not, we got to really be. I mean, unless it's about the race is culturally significant to the story, like a Black Panther, whatever the case was, or Blade. It's like, yeah, they need to be that specific race. But to have him come in and do that, that would be great. Now, in regards of this, might really get people mad. In regards of Magneto, because remember there was rumors going around that they was talking about having Magneto played by Denzel Washington or something or another. I'm like, now if they made Magneto black, I know people gonna get pissed because they've been, well, he has to be Jewish and the whole Holocaust thing. I'm like, Holocaust happened over 100 years ago. So how old we planning on making Magneto in this universe? Like, it worked 20 some odd years ago, and we had the original X-Men because I believe the original X-Men came out in 2000. So it wasn't that far off that you could have somebody like a Ian McKellen come in and play that character. But in 2025, that man got to be 100 something odd years old and still agile in order to be believable. So that whole situation, they got to figure out how to make Magneto work in this new world and this sort of thing. So if they decide to change up the roles and race swapping or whatever the case was, I'm not going to be too mad about it. Me, I'm all about whoever is good for the job and whoever can command that whole situation. And to me, Lawrence Fishburne has that gravitas that I believe that could pull off playing Magneto. And plus, he got the head for it. He already shaved the head, so that would be good. You definitely could see he could pull it off. He got a nice shaved head. Now, the one thing I would love to have seen him come back for, and I'm still mad at y'all over that, the fact that y'all didn't bring him back for the Matrix. And I know they're talking about Drew Goddard is supposed to be rebooting the Matrix, making his own version. And if they start over, I think that would be great. I don't know if we want Keanu Reeves and Carrie Ann Moss all to come back because they are of a certain age. And I don't know if Keanu Reeves has it in him to want to be doing all that choreography. Because look, he was already saying that it's a lot when he's doing John Wick and how demanding it is to be that physical in those movies, especially when you're doing judo, flipping people and doing it's a lot of knee work. So if you had Ana de Armas complaining as young as she is, and Keanu Reeves is way older than her. Can you imagine them coming back and doing that movie? So if they need to bring in new people, whatever for the Matrix, I'm here for that. But if they want to find a way to bring Morpheus back, I'm here for that too. Because I mean, I like Yaya, but he was no Morpheus. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Would you like to see Lawrence Fishburne in the MCU as Professor Charles Xavier? I'm like, I'm here for it. I would like to see it. So, because he is a great actor, and I think that like I said, he's very commanding. He's got that gravitas to him. He definitely can command the room. We've seen that speech that he gave in Matrix Reloaded, so we definitely can command a room full of people. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. You said Roger Connor's Meat movie is quick. Wanting to see that movie. Um, I remember hearing so much about that Meat movie. I didn't even know if it was out yet, but I remember I was like online, whatever, and I think I don't know if he was sending me stuff or I would just see advertisements, whatever the case was. I was following him on social media or whatever the case was. And I did see something because it's like he wears like this spiky, glittery mask or whatever the case was, like a slasher film. That and Hellbent. I remember back in the day, there was this movie called Hellbent that was very much a queer slasher film. And I was like, I love that movie, even though it was so damn cheesy. Well, we take what we can get. But yeah, I definitely want to see that film. He should play Forge. Wait, who's that? I gotta look that up. Who that character is. I'm not familiar with him. You said, "Hey, Chris, hello, Professor Fishburne." Ryan Gosling stars in the next. So, well, I hope it's good because there's been I've been so disappointed with where they've been going with the whole Star Wars thing that I actually hope that it doesn't suck. This Ryan Gosling, and I like Ryan Gosling, but Ryan Gosling in a way is like Jared Leto, great actor, but you can't open a movie no matter how hard he tries. Because I am. He says, "So mad Brian Singer was too cowardly to continue the queer subtext Matthew Vaughn created between Professor X and Magneto in X-Men First Class." I gotta rewatch those movies again to see can if I see a lot of that in there because when I started rewatching things recently, I've noticed that I've been paying a lot more attention to a lot of stuff because I think when I was younger, I wasn't really picking up on a lot of stuff. The only thing that, of course, obviously I picked up on was the scene where Iceman comes out to his parents as a mutant. And it was like his mother's, "Can you try not being a mutant?" I was like, yeah, that was kind of like hit on the head in regards of like, yeah, that's very much a metaphor for coming out. But all the other stuff in there is like, I gotta rewatch to see if I pick up on all the other stuff. There is a white Black Panther, their adopted brother, White Wolf. This is a hellbent sword while I was coming to terms with my homosexualness. Mm, yeah, I saw that a long time ago. James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender basically mind fuck at one point. Look, Michael Fassbender, we already know he got a big old dick. We seen it in that movie Shame. Shout out to Steve McQueen, the director. Not the other, there's two Steve McQueen. There's a black Steve McQueen who was a director, and there's the white Steve McQueen who was like the iconic action movie star. And then James McAvoy been looking like a snack lately with all that, weightlifting and things he was doing in the movies. You said, I'm not mad at that. Fishburne would give the role justice. That's what I said. I'm all about who's qualified for the role. People get so caught up in like, oh, he has to be white because he was white in the comic. It's like, eat a dick. Anyway, let's move on to the next topic and let's talk about Buffy. So, Sarah Michelle Gellar recently did an interview and she basically said, excuse me, that she never thought that she would actually be out here playing Buffy the Vampire Slayer again. Because she thought like once she was done with the show, back on, when it was on the WB, then it was CW, then it was UPN, that she thought that she was done. But it was like, nope, because I guess they came up with a good idea. She was like, yeah, I'm about to do it. Because, yeah, it was 2003 when the show ended. So literally over 20 years ago. So she said, it was not a place that I ever saw myself. So it definitely felt very surreal. This is what she said to Variety on Tuesday night. at the Neiman Marcus celebrates 2025 Fantasy Gifts Party at Barmamont in Los Angeles. She said, but this is why you never say never. And I'm sure I said never meant you did. Never, I said never many times, and I've learned my lesson because I'm sure someday you're going to go back and find all the times I said no, never. I'm too old. It'll be Buffy with the wall. Well, look, everybody has their iconic roles that they gonna play, and it's like, yeah, that's one of them. You literally are Buffy the Vampire Slayer. We done forgot all about Christy Swanson crazy ass once you took on that role and played her in the TV show. And everybody's got everybody. If you come from a world of TV and you transition to movies, yeah, you can go up and do your little movie thing, but you'll always be Buffy to the fans. And I'm still mad that they canceled that show that she was on, the Dexter one. They renewed the other Dexter show, the one of Resurrection. That's getting a new season, but the one that she was on, the prequel, she liked that one that took place in the 80s. They went and canceled that after one season. I'm like, why? That was such a good damn show. But I guess they don't want to have two Dexters. And look, at least she still got something to fall back on. That's if the show actually goes in the pilot stage and gets a full series order, which I think it will for the most part, once they're done editing and start showing it around to whoever is at Hulu that they got to show it to in order to get that green light for the future episodes. So they said the show is actually has a title. It's officially titled Buffy the Vampire Slayer New Sunnydale. The Hulu reboot recently wrapped its pilot episode. Ryan Kira Armstrong stars as the new Slayer, with Gellar appearing in a recurring role as Buffy. Gellar said it was director and reboot executive producer Chloe Zhao who convinced her to reprise the iconic character, saying that Chloe had this idea in a world and the passion with which she spoke both about her idea and how the show made me realize that now more than ever we need these heroes to believe in. It's tough times for everybody right now, and I think people feel more isolated and more alone, and we live in an incredibly digital society. But ultimately, the more and more technologically connected we get, the more disconnected we're becoming, and so found family and those true moments become more and more important. Geller also said that viewers don't have to watch the original series to understand the reboot because you already know, like, when it comes down to a lot of the shows. And I'm gonna be honest, I have been rewatching Buffy because I was like, I love the old show for nostalgia's sake, but also, um, I also want to, remember some of the stuff from the show. So that's why I've been into it and all this other stuff. And then I was even thinking I might want to go back and watch Angel. Speaking of which, I would love to see an Angel requel or whatever the case was. But then I think they wouldn't do it because how do you David Boreanaz is not a spring chicken anymore. Vampires are not supposed to age. So how do we make that work? How do you come up with this thing of like, uh how do we explain Angel getting older? We can't explain it. So I guess we don't need it. Or y'all just have to do him like you did Sarah Michelle Gellar with all the lighting and the making her look younger in that scene. And I know what you did last summer. If you know, you know. So yeah, she said this is a show that will cater definitely to the original fans. There will always be Easter eggs because there were Easter eggs in the original, but we also want to introduce it to people that maybe haven't seen the show. So here's the thing. You better hope and pray this younger generation cares about the show. But I feel like because for nostalgia's sake, a lot of us who grew up and with Buffy and loving the show are gonna check it out. So a lot of the Buffy fans, a lot of the gay fans and all this stuff will be watching. But also, I hope the new generation comes in and want to watch it because of Ryan Kara Armstrong and the new generation of people that's in it. But I feel like for the most part, if they could find a way to bridge that gap between the nostalgia fans and the new generation, and you don't do the mistake that they did what I know what you did last summer, which is like you just bringing in or a lot of these requel type shows where you kind of it feels a little fan servicey when you bring in a lot of the original characters from the show and you don't really and they're just like there for nostalgia's sake, but they're not serving a real purpose. Like I truly feel like when I watched I Know What You Did Last Summer, y'all were just dropping a lot of like Julie James felt like y'all wasted her. Ray basically felt a little wasted. There was a lot that bothered me with that script. I mean, the movie's entertaining to watch, but it did feel a little fan servicey. And I just hope that they're able to find that balance and not make it feel like I said fan servicey and all of that. So I'm looking forward to seeing the show whenever they get the green light to go ahead with a full season order, which I'm sure it will happen. It's just only a matter of time once they're done, I guess, editing the what is it? Editing the pilot, showing it to whoever they need to show it to, and they're like, okay, it's good enough. Let's just go with a full season order. Who knows how many episodes that'll be? I'm hoping it's at least a good 8 to 10. No, I don't want to do 8 because that's Netflix. 10 to 12 episodes. If y'all can do that, maybe a little, maybe lucky 13. Then we good. So y'all don't have to do the full 22 like y'all did back in the day. People ain't watching TV like that. Unless you still watch linear legacy network TV shows. So, yeah, I want to hear from you all. What do you guys think of this story regarding what Sarah Michelle Gellar had to say about this, this upcoming Buffy the Vampire Slayer reboot? And I'm hoping that it's not just going to be Buffy, and then we'll get Willow back. Maybe we'll find out if Willow has children. Maybe her daughter or kid, son, whoever will be on the show. Maybe we can get Charisma Carpenter because look, Joss Whedon did Cordelia dirty on that last season. I mean, on Angel. So um, hopefully we get a couple of those characters back. Maybe Oz or whoever. So Anya's dead. Y'all can bring her back. I don't know if we're gonna bring back Xander. He been going through it in his personal life, so I don't know if we'll get him back. And then I would like to see Spike. James Marsden's, he always looked a little bit old-ish when he was a vampire on the show. So it ain't that hard to get him back on the show. So yeah, I want to hear from y'all. What you guys think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. I have not seen Together yet. I know it is available to rent on the streaming services, like on Prime Video, but I haven't gotten around to watching it. I definitely want to check it out. Also, if y'all have HBO Max, Weapons comes out this week. So if y'all haven't seen it, it comes out this week. I don't know. I don't. When do they drop movies on like new movies of the week? Is it like Friday or whatever? So you probably could wait 2 days. It'll be out. I love Weapons. So that'll definitely be a great watch. And then I already told y'all yesterday, uh, Sinners is coming back into theaters on Halloween. I'm only interested to see if she learned how to throw a punch. it Yeah, because well, look, she gonna have to throw a punch. But the funny part was when watching the show, you could always tell when Sarah's stunt double was doing all the work because it's like her stunt double was thicker than her. Sarah Michelle Gellar was too damn skinny, but if she had this girl, her stunt double had ass, and so I was like, mm-mm. I hope they bring other characters. Exactly, but don't just do fan service. Like really make them feel like there's a sense of purpose when you bring them into the show. Side note, that intro had no business going as hard as it did. That's true. Look, one of the things I loved about the 90s and the 2000s, the theme songs went hard. It was the theme song for, look, there was two shows. Well, actually, don't judge me, but I did like the Seventh Heaven theme song too. But the um the theme song to Buffy the Vampire Slayer was like one of my favorites. And also, damn, what was the other theme song that I was just thinking about that I forgot? It just escaped my brain. It'll come to me. But yeah, oh, Charm. The theme song of Charm, Love Spit Love, How Soon Is Now, even though that's not their original song. But when their version of that song, that was always the reason why I would look forward to Charm, because that song will come on. But then again, I bought that song too. So that way I could listen to it whenever. And it originally was in the craft before it went into Charm. Bring Angel on for an episode or at least a cameo. Oh yeah, don't even forget. Yes, Somebody Save Me by Remy Zero. Remember at one point, speaking of Charmed, here's a fun fact. Uh Alyssa Milano was dating the lead singer who did that theme song. And I think she was on Charmed at the time. So it was like, yeah, Seventh Heaven, that was my song. And then yeah, Somebody Save Me. That song, bitch, let me tell you, nobody was safe when that song came on. We already did a story yesterday regarding Allison Mack that I got to put up on the channels or whatever. Um, she got a podcast coming out talking about some of them shenanigans that she was doing when she was in that cult, allegedly. Not you bringing up some damn Maud. That was a show B. Arthur was on. Wasn't that before she was on the Golden Girls? No, she's out. And she married. And she got a podcast coming. Yeah, I gotta put that video up once I'm done with the show and I start my editing and everything. I'm gonna be multitasking tonight. I gotta put that together. I gotta put in the timestamps with this show and on top of that, upload the clip because I was clipping episodes and stuff in between putting this show together and watching Jade Thirlwall's Welcome to Showbiz Baby tour live from London. That streamed live on her channel a couple hours earlier. It was actually good. Well, her two backup dancers. But look, shit, we on a budget. But then again, I ain't gonna crack too hard because Lord only had two backup dancers on her tour, and she was doing arenas. Anyway, and she just speaking of Lord, she just did an interview with Variety talking about her tour and stuff. 'Cause I think she's wrapping up the US leg. All right now. So now let's get into some speaking since we already in the music mood. Let's get into some music news. Let's talk about Debbie Harry. So Debbie Harry, because you already know we have a biopic coming out with Madonna, where Debbie Harry basically says, well, Madonna has Julia Garner, not Julia Fox. I think Julia Fox actually auditioned to play Debbie Mazur. Julia Garner is up for playing Madonna. Then there was a recent story, and I forgot to bring this up, but now I'm bringing it up in passing. Word on the curb is Rachel Ziegler is up for playing Gloria Estefan in her biopic. So that's the latest rumor that's going on around that. Once that becomes official tissue, we'll talk about it here. But yeah, there's a rumor going around that Rachel Ziegler is circling the drain to play Gloria Estefan on her own movie. So if that happens, that will be interesting. Especially the way y'all was windmilling hard over her for playing Snow White and some of the things that she was saying. But yeah, Debbie Harry has come out and said that she wants Florence Pugh to play her in her biopic. I don't know if she actually has one coming, but she said if the opportunity presented itself, and I think Blondie has a new album coming out too. Um, yeah, so she said that's what she said. So shout out to EW for this story. They said the Heart of Glass singer offered her 2 cents on who should play her in a film inspired by her life in a new interview. She said, if it were somebody like Florence Pugh, I would be in heaven. This is what she told UK outlet The Times. She says, I just think she's a great actor and she could do anything. Pugh actually expressed her interest in playing Harry at a panel at the Santa Barbara International Film Festival in 2020. When asked what famous figures she might want to portray on screen in the future, the Oscar-nominated actress responded, Blondie, because she's just so cool. And that is so true, because one thing I've always loved about Debbie Harry and that whole Blondie, their music and what they were about, they always tried different genres. They did hip-hop, they did pop, they did dance music, they did electronic, they did everything. And, they were prominent figures in the whole CBGB scene. I think even Madonna was inspired by Debbie Harry, especially where she had like the, um, what's her name? From the lead singer from Berlin, she had that hairdo with the blonde at the top and then there was black underneath. That was a real big look in the 80s. I remember like from watching a lot of the girls, Terry Nunn, that's what it was. So it just came to me because I love that song, Take My Breath Away from Top Gun. Um, so yeah, so it was like Debbie Harry was the epitome of cool. So that's what I always liked about her, especially like watching old music videos and how she collaborated with so many different artists in those times. And she's a New Yorker. That's why we live for her and all that other stuff. And she was a part of the whole post punk scene and everything. So that's what I always liked about her. But yeah, I definitely think that Blondie deserves their own biopic or whatever. And she definitely is somebody who needs one before she leaves this earth. So hopefully it happens. And I also remember, if I'm not mistaken, Florence Pugh, I think, also was the one that auditioned to portray Madonna before the part went to Julia Garner. Now, whenever that movie decides to get made, who the hell knows? But we know that she's still up to the role. I just hope that y'all are able to get this film off the ground before uh she has to apply Julia, not Madonna, for AARP because Madonna already got AARP. She damn near 70 at this point. But and that's no shade, I'm just saying. But Julia Garner, I'm like, yeah, she's in her early 30s, but yeah, you want to get her to play Madonna and be able to do all the physicality that it takes to play that part before she's like, okay, now I'm gonna need a couple of hip and knee replacements. So she also threw another classic English singer into the mix at the time. She said, I grew up pretending I was Dusty Springfield because she had a really low voice. And I was like, hey, I have a low voice too. She said those two. So reps for Pugh did not immediately respond to Entertainment Weekly's request for comment. Now, on paper, Pugh would be a natural fit to play Harry. The star is currently 29 years old, and Harry was 31 when Blondie released their self-titled debut album in 1976. Pugh is 5'4", just an inch taller than Harry, and also usually sports a blonde do similar to the unmistakable shade the one way or another vocalist has rocked for years. And that's not to mention the shared low pitch of their voices. Also, Pugh can sing because she played an aspiring musician in Zach Braff's 2023 drama A Good Person, and she sang in the movie, but also wrote two original songs that her character performed in the movie, and those songs are called I Hate Myself and The Best Part. So if anybody can actually pull off what it takes to be a musician and has done music and stuff and has dipped her toe in that world, Florence will definitely be a great fit. And here's the thing, and this is why I tell people too, because y'all get so fixated on the fact that you have to be 16, 12, 21, 23. If you try to be a musician at 30 or in your 40s, you're too old. And I'm like, what? First of all, like it was stated back in the day, and I'm glad they reiterated this, that when Blondie released their self-titled debut album in 1976, and they blew up, she was 31 years old. She was in her 30s, which some people would consider that old. And it's like, why? To me, it's like the older you are, the more you're aware of what's going on, the more you're able to put yourself into the work. You understand the business. People are not going to take advantage of you. And that's why they like you young. So that way they can take advantage of you and work you to the damn bone. And when they ready to move on to the next thing, they chew you up, spit you out, move on to the next thing, like I was saying. So I don't see why it's an issue if someone is of an older age that wants to pursue a career in music and blows up. Age ain't nothing but a number. If you can get out there on that stage every night and perform just as bad, just as much as these little 25-year-olds or these 22-year-olds or these 12-year-olds that's up here, doing what they do, I don't see why it's a problem because one of the things that people always gagged about was Madonna being a woman of a certain age and dancing circles around her 20-something-year-old dancers, and she was in her 50s keeping up with their asses. And what could they say? I mean, she paying for it now with all that pain and all that stuff she was dealing with the knees and the hips, but she kept up. Baby boy, want me to lose my breath. So, um, I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Would you like to see Florence Pugh playing Debbie Harry? I think that would be a good idea for her to come up in there and do that role. I think they also said that she previously, oh yeah, before I get up off of it, they said she previously gave her blessing to another actress who was reportedly set to play her in a different Blondie biopic that entered pre-production in the late 2000s, but never happened. So it was Kirsten Dunst. I'm like, how did I not know about that movie from back in the day? But yeah, apparently Kirsten Dunst, Miss Torrance, I'm sexy, I'm cute, I'm popular to boot, was supposed to play her in a movie in the 2000s. That actually would have been a good thing. But I feel like now more than ever, I think we could definitely use a biopic, and I could definitely see Florence Pugh playing that role. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. If you don't think that Florence Pugh would be up for the part, who do you think would be a good Debbie Harry? So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Okay. You said, who is to blame for all these past TV stars, Park? Not Joey Lawrence. Wait, isn't Joey Lawrence doing a podcast with both of his brothers? Is him, Matthew, and what's the other one name? I always forget the other brother name. There's Joey Lawrence and there's Matthew Lawrence. I know Matthew Lawrence is hunching that crazy bitch Chili from TLC. Remember when she came out with that long list of what she want in a man? Um, and people was looking at her like that brought a lost her there. And it's like, no wonder you by yourself. But look, she found something in Matthew, so it is what it is. That's a good question. Who is to blame for these past? Who all these people with podcasts? Because there's too many of y'all running around here. Although I do like the idea of like the nostalgia of it all with some of these podcasts. If you give good conversation, you know what the hell you're talking about. I'm here for it. Like when you do, like when you have like the Pod Meets World and all those type of shows. Because when you grow up watching shows like Boy Meets World, which I already know my Boy Meets World story, where I was like, I went and I set the timer to record that show while I was at summer camp, and I couldn't wait to get back home to watch, that show. Yes, get on your feet. That'll probably what they'll call the movie. Harry is the definition of the 80s. Wait, isn't that one of their songs, Son of a Preacher Man? You said if not Pugh, then maybe Renee Rapp. I can see that. Renee Rapp came to my job was it last month? Speaking of which, Sabrina Carpenter got 5 dates at the Garden next week. I think starting Sunday. I'm working a Halloween show, and you said Renee Rapp is pretty much hated since she's gatekeeping lesbian and saying we don't date bisexual women here. I don't think anybody will be really paying attention to all of that. Um, Once she's lost into the role, I think a lot of the older people who really don't be paying attention to social media like that, I don't think they'll have a problem with, you know, they're not going to be digging up on the internet being like, oh, she said that. I'm not watching that movie. Give me the Russian actress from Marvel. I feel like she's actually a genuine Russian asset, but in Hollywood, shut up. And you said no smoking cigarettes or weed, no drinking, no bro night. Don't want you to be best friends with your mama and your what we talking about? There's this bug in here in this room that literally has been trying to go up my nose for the longest. And I'm like, I feel like it's like coming on me, and I'm like, go away. Now looking like I'm having a coke moment. Is this what it feel like to be? Let me not. Because I was about to say a certain rapper that likes to wear pink wigs. Anyway, let's move on. Oh yeah, she was annoying with that. It's like chilly and crazy. And I wonder if Matthew Lawrence is abiding by that mess. Anyway, let's move on, y'all. Get back into the show. Let's talk about the NFL and Bad Bunny. So yesterday we did talk a bit about how there was some stupid petition that some dingbat, I don't remember the name, nor do I care. But the video was out there. I did on yesterday's show. I did clip it. I will be uploading it to the channel once I'm done with the live. But um there was some guy that came up with some petition to basically they want him replaced, Bad Bunny, with George Strait. Mind you, Bad Bunny has 84 million listeners on Spotify, or streams, if you want to call it, while George Strait has 8,000. So they apparently the racism is too great for them to realize that it's a numbers game when you're in the industry. We ain't picking somebody that only got like like a smidge of listeners because you can't take Puerto Rican, where Puerto Rico was a part of the US, get up there and performing in their native language at the Super Bowl. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Go watch that little Charlie Kirk wife is putting together something over there for y'all. If y'all want to go and watch that, have a bunch of people playing the damn banjo while y'all ding 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 while you do that mess for like 2 hours or how long you plan on doing your little halftime special. Then you go over there and watch that foolishness. But we know your ass gonna be hate watching. And that's what y'all do. Y'all sit and bitch and moan for the clout and the attention, and then you go and y'all sit at home with your arms folded, hate watching, and then want to colonize what all them people over there is doing. Because y'all know y'all gonna be watching Bad Bunny walking around that stage while you got a bunch of big booty Latina girls shaking their behind and watching themselves, shaking their ass and watching themselves while and showing you what they working with while they up on that stage for 15 minutes. So one of the things I will say that I love about all of this right now is that the NFL commissioner has come out in support of Bad Bunny and saying, I don't give a good goddamn about y'all petitions or whatever the case is. We support Bad Bunny 100,000%, and we ain't changing. So NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell is standing by Bad Bunny as next year's Super Bowl halftime show performer amid continued MAGA backlash over the decision. Apple Music and NFL announced on September 28th that Bad Bunny will headline the 2026 Super Bowl, prompting several conservative figures to lash out at the choice, given the music superstar sings primarily in Spanish. Look, he gave y'all 4 months to learn. You still got 3.5 to learn. October's almost over. Um, okay, so he says it's carefully thought through. This is what Goodell said while defending Bad Bunny via AP, Associated Press. I'm not sure we've ever selected an artist where we didn't have some blowback or criticism. Well, that's true, because every time they not make an announcement, y'all get mad about some shit. Y'all was mad last year when it was Kendrick Lamar, and the year before that, the year before that, the year before that. It's pretty hard to do when you have literally hundreds of millions of people that are watching. We're confident it's going to be a great show. He understands the platform that he's on, and I think it's going to be exciting and a united moment. Goodell added about Bad Bunny, saying he's one of the leading and most popular entertainers in the world, which is what I said. Y'all thinking it's just certain area. No, it's the world. He is a worldwide superstar. That's what we try to achieve. It's an important stage for us, but it's an important element to the entertainment value. Now, that idiot president said during a Newsmax interview earlier this month that it was absolutely ridiculous for Bad Bunny to perform at the Super Bowl, even though he had not heard of the singer. And it's like, that's kind of like that old man, shaking his cane. It's like, you don't even know who the fuck Bad Bunny is. Yet you say, oh, it's absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous for what? You couldn't name one song of his. You don't even know what the dude looked like unless somebody pulled up their phone and showed you a picture. So nobody's listening to what some octogenarian who can't even blend his own damn makeup correctly has to say, and got swollen ass ankles, got to say about some reggaeton rapper that he ain't even heard of. He said, I don't know who he is. I don't know what they're doing. It's crazy. And then they blame it on some promoter they hired to pick up entertainment. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. And this is, where Donald Trump just says dumb shit and people just don't question it. They just eat it up. And it's like, dude, you sound stupid. He's completely out of touch. Now, Trump's former campaign manager, Corey Lewandowski, was one of the first people to publicly condemn the selection of Bad Bunny, going as far as threatening that ICE agents will be present at the Super Bowl next year. He warned there is no way you can provide safe haven for people who are in this country illegally, not the Super Bowl and nowhere else. We will find you and apprehend you and put you in a detention facility and deport you. Know that is a very real situation under this administration, which is contrary to how it used to be. It's funny he's saying all this and doing all of that when LA, and I remember just recently there's a lot of videos that's been popping up on TikTok or whatever the case is. Oh, I was trying to land up in New York and pulling that mess that y'all was doing in Chicago and all these up. New York, we built different. Like y'all been out here trying to swoop down on a lot of these counterfeit these foreigners be selling this counterfeit material down in Chinatown. Oh, they've been trying to crack down on there, and the people has been rising up. Oh no, not out here. We don't do y'all thinking y'all that this is L.A., Chicago, parts of Florida and Texas. Nope, we don't do that in New York. We built different. So y'all gonna come up in here and try that ish with us in New York? Oh, get ready for the wrath. And shout out to all the people that's been out there going in and letting have on a lot of these dingbats that's over there, these ICE agents where they talking about the quiet as is kept. A lot of them is they having a hard time getting people to join ICE because a lot of y'all are pretty much fat and out of shape. So y'all been eating instead of y'all hitting the gym, y'all be eating the whole goddamn cornfield. And now y'all wonder why you can't run when it kind of that's why I was like, shout out to that dude that was doing the Uber Eats or whatever the case was. He was making a delivery and you had them fat ass ICE agents trying to run after them. And he got away on his bike. I ain't never seen nobody pedal so hard in my life, but he got away from their ass. I'm like, well, shit, if y'all actually ran on a goddamn treadmill instead of running a couple of donuts from y'all, taking the arm and working that donut to your mouth, then you'd be able to do and chase and catch some of these immigrants. But bitch, it ain't my fault, y'all. You can't see your dick over your stomach. So Bad Bunny's Super Bowl announcement, as they said, was notable as the NFL championship game is now its only U.S. concert appearance set for 2026. Because with his tour, he was like, I'm not coming to the United States and giving y'all a show because like when you got morons who work on this administration sitting up there saying that we're gonna make sure that ICE agents are at the NFL on Super Bowl, like the Super Bowl, and outside the NFL because I don't think they're gonna be allowed to come in the building. That's you can't come up there and do your dirt in the building or whatever unless you got a ticket, whatever the case is. You cannot come up in here. I don't give a good goddamn, or unless you're not on the clock. Because when I work a lot of live events, unless you work in for the company, you cannot get inside. So you need to have a ticket. So you're gonna have to park your ass outside and do what you need to do to try to see if you can round up whoever the hell you want to round up. And I don't think that a lot of immigrants will be stupid enough to even come to the NFL or to the Super Bowl, whatever. They'll be watching from home and supporting Bad Bunny via their TV screens. So I'm definitely with him when it's like I would not give y'all any kind of money. And I definitely feel like, and this is what worries me too, as somebody who works in live entertainment, I do feel like because the price gouging and a lot of stuff and the fact that a lot of people don't want to come here because like when it comes to the Knicks games and the Rangers games, well, more or less Knicks, we do get a lot of foreigners that come, a lot of tourists that come to want to see these games or whatever. And because of the price gouging and everything, I'm definitely afraid that live entertainment is going to be affected because a lot of you corporations are being greedy. Something's got to give at some point, and then we have this moron who's gutting the government, and a lot of people ended up on unemployment. But if people out here getting unemployment, because I heard unemployment in New York went up like $800 something odd dollars a week. I'm like, damn. I'm like, I wouldn't mind getting some of that money and just do this show every day and make my money from YouTube and collect unemployment. But I like working, so I'm gonna keep with what I got. Uh, Maybe y'all can use that unemployment money to buy tickets to come support me so I can keep working at my live entertainment situations. See how that works? Y'all can buy y'all concert tickets, which is ridiculously expensive, and y'all sports stuff. So yeah, so now and then they mentioned stuff about Homeland Security. We don't give us nothing about Ice Barbie and her fucked up skin and all that mess. Cause I've seen a close up of who been beating your face is like literally it's giving like a drag queen who first learned how to powder her face but don't know how to blend. That's literally what Christy Noman's been looking like lately. Like, girl, whoever's doing your makeup, job well done, because you got her out here looking crazy. Like literally, it looks like her face is melting in real time, which I guess is kind of like an ongoing joke that South Park was doing in a recent episode about her. So yeah, so in recent days, various publications have reported on a viral internet petition, as I mentioned, that calls for the NFL to replace Bad Bunny with country music icon George Strait. Turning Point USA also, as I mentioned, because I always forget what their name is. And because I don't care about them people, but we got to keep our ear to the street and know about these racists and what they up to. And that was founded by Charlie Kirk. Um, so they talking about they doing their own halftime, their own post halftime show, and that's why I said like you bitching about him doing it. Go watch that. Like there's all alternatives. I hate people who are just like, oh, I'm mad because they're doing something that I don't like, so I want everybody to be equally as pissed off as I am. We don't give a fuck about fuck your feelings. We don't care about what you want. My thing is when if there's something I don't particularly care for, if there's an artist I don't like that's gonna pop up on an event on a show or whatever the case is, I don't watch it. I flip the channel. I go and watch other things. I don't sit and do whole discourses and hold posts and create GoFundMe's or whatever the hell it is that y'all creating to air my grievances. I don't care enough to want to let everybody know. I mean, I'm doing it because I'm doing a show and we having a conversation, and this is what I'm getting paid to do. But and because media, but for the most part, it's like I don't feel the need that I have to jump on and let everybody. Like, I don't give a fuck. I'm not watching that. Like, who gives a shit? Like some of you people out here, y'all need a hug or some anal. Or somebody to beat you, give you a hand job. Y'all need something because this is uptightness with y'all. It's just I can't. I think I also heard something on the because Shakira did give her kudos and stuff to Bad Bunny performing at the Super Bowl because they did bring him out. I think he came out and performed with Shakira at the Super Bowl. I can't remember which one he performed with. Was it Jennifer or um was it Shakira? It was one of them. But I remember, I don't know if I heard something or another, but they were saying like, oh, he didn't ask any of them to come out and perform with him. And I'm sitting there like, well, why should he? Let Bad Bunny do his own thing. Bad Bunny was just starting out, like he was getting his bearings or whatever. He was known, he was popular, but he was on the rise at the time. So he was a newbie, fresh face, or whatever. Him and J Balvin, I remember they performed, and maybe we'll see J Balvin and Bad Bunny out there at during the halftime because I'm sure he's gonna bring some of his other fellow reggaeton artists and stuff out there to perform alongside him. Just don't bring out them Trump supporting ones. Like leave Angwell retarded ass where he at and leave Nicky Jam dumbass where he at because he was out here shucking and jiving for Trump, trying to get all the Puerto Ricans to go and vote for him. So don't invite his ass, even though he a legend in the game. But no, don't bring him in it. Just bring some people that actually are about something and make some sense and not only in it about the money and all that other mess. So shout out to you, Benito. I'll definitely, like I said, I'll be watching the Super Bowl, the Super Bowl and the halftime. So I'll be watching when you hit the stage, and we'll be talking about it on this show in 2026. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? It is good to say, in my opinion, because we haven't heard from Jay Z. I guess because he's still out there doing business in Abu Dhabi. Yeah, I seen them videos of him and Beyonce all in her little burqa situation while she was out there while he doing business with the Arabs. So I guess maybe he's trying to get a casino out there or something. But Jay-Z been quiet about the situation. But I like the fact that we have someone from the NFL that has come to his defense, especially with the reputation the NFL has had in regards of the treatment of people of color within that in the whole in that establishment. And the reason why a lot of people was kind of boycotting y'all, especially when y'all treated Colin Kaepernick and other stuff. So you get a little point for coming out and defending Benny. So I meant Benito, not Benny. That's his American name. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Mhm. Not everyone's protein. Who's 80 now? Chili? Nah, I know you're talking about Debbie Harry. He said Madonna broke George Strait record as the artist with the most number one singles on an official Billboard chart. So George lost it to a progressive icon. I couldn't name not one goddamn George Strait song. George Strait has like I said, 8,000 views or listens on Spotify um or 8 million, whereas Bad Bunny has 80 million. Canadians don't feel welcome. Mm-mm. Although the Canadians, they was playing the Rangers the other day at my job. Rangers lost. The Rangers have yet to win a home game. And they played 4 games already. Well, since I've been there, I think they're playing tonight. The Knicks official season kicks off tomorrow. I'm working their Friday game, and then St. John's, I believe, has a game on Saturday. College basketball can be so annoying, but it's a lot of fun because it's only like 2 quarters, and they're each 20 minutes versus it's 12 minutes, 4 quarters, 12 minutes for an actual NBA game. You say y'all need some okay. Y'all need a hug or some anal. Child. He's why you love George Strait. I love George Gay. The gays, the straights, bisexuals, transsexuals. Remember that song? All right. So now let's get back into the show and let's talk about Lizzo. So apparently, Lizzo can't seem to escape the drama going on in her life. I mean, remember she came out with her little mixtapes, whatever. It was cute. I was living momentarily. I moved on to greener pastures. But it seems like that Lizzo is going through it because she is being sued for copyright infringement. And the funny part is over a song she never released. So, a snippet of an unreleased Lizzo song is at the center of a recently filed copyright infringement lawsuit. In the complaint reviewed by Rolling Stone, a Georgia based revocable trust called the GRC Trust alleges that the musician infringed upon their copyright for a song titled Win or Lose. We tried when she previewed I'm Going In till October on Instagram and TikTok in August. Despite the song not being officially released, GRC Trust claims it has suffered damages and that Lizzo, as well as co plaintiffs, Atlantic Records, have obtained profits they would not have realized but for the infringement of GRC's rights. Well, I guess what they're saying is that. And they said it was because there's also they mentioned there was a line about Sydney Sweeney and that denim jeans ad that she did that was mentioned in there. But the song wasn't released, but I guess the loophole is because she previewed it on TikTok and Instagram. People heard the song. People may have profited for the song, but profiting from it, like I want to know, like, there a physical release of the song that people would actually get their hands on, where there was actual profit made? Not that the song was played. I previewed a song that I didn't even include on the album probably because you wasn't gonna let me have, I try to clear a sample, whatever the case was. I just let people hear the song, whatever the case. Like I just need to know the full details of the situation. But I'm guesstimating or guessing that maybe that was the case, whatever. Is that because you previewed the song and like, well, people heard it. Technically, you might be getting some kind of profit. They would have to prove that in court that there was some type of monetization that transpired from that. Now, in a statement shared with Rolling Stone, reps for Lizzo stated, "We are surprised that the GRC Trust filed this lawsuit. To be clear, the song has never been commercially released or monetized, and no decision has been made at this time regarding any future commercial release of the song." And that's probably why, because y'all probably being a pain in the ass. Now, to say I'm going on into October was previewed in early August, while controversy swelled around Sydney Sweeney following her denim campaign with American Eagle. In the song, Lizzo name checked the actress rapping, "Bitch, I got good genes like I'm Sydney." A few weeks after the snippet was shared, Lizzo released the extended edition of her EP, My Face Hurts from Smiling, titled My Face Still Hurts from Smiling. The expansion included 9 new tracks, but a completed version of I'm Going In Till October did not appear on the project. In the complaint, GRC states that Lizzo copied and exploited their copyrighted material and alleges that attempts to negotiate with the musician and her label reached an impasse, which led to their filing of the suit. The infringing work incorporates, interpolates, and samples instrumental and vocal elements of the composition. The document reads, "Reps for Lizzo acknowledged the same." Lizzo previously found herself, as y'all know, embroiled in a legal battle over her music in 2019 when she faced a plagiarism claim over her hit single Truth Hurts. She later countersued the songwriters who filed the complaint, though that was later dismissed. The involved parties reached a settlement in 2022. So I'll definitely keep abreast of the story as it develops. I just feel like the way that y'all be going about it with this whole music thing and interpolations and all sort of stuff, it's just too much of a damn headache. It's annoying. It's like it reminds me of this whole blurred line situation. Also, when Olivia Rodrigo was talking about that she was inspired by Taylor Swift, and Taylor Swift's people decided to sue her. So it's just a mess with this whole situation. I just hate like this ugly game that a lot of people play with the whole music thing. But look, if they could prove that there was some type of monetization that happened, then I guess you can win this. But I just feel like this is a bunch of hokey. I feel like y'all really reaching, and I don't think they're really going to get any money out of this. But I'm definitely going to keep myself abreast of this story or keep my eye on this story as it develops because I definitely want to know like, if if while they trying to slither and find their way into this loophole to find out if they can actually get some money out of the situation, if they'll be able to get away with it, and what this means for the future of music when it comes to every time I turn around, y'all try to find some type of way of getting a little monetization out of something, even when it's not even intentionally it's not intentional what they're doing in regards of like, you know, monetizing something that you're saying that they try to monetize. Because I think sometimes it's just a happy accident. That's why I forget who it was, but there was this rock singer that was back in the day that somebody had interpolated their music, and it was like it's rock and roll. Like we all kind of just take from each other, and it's not a big deal. Where it's like, oh, you used a piece of my stuff, so I'm gonna sue. It's just like a lot of these pop acts or whatever want to be doing that, and I guess maybe because you're not getting a lot of income or whatever coming in, that people do whatever they can to squeeze all the juice out the lemon until there's nothing left. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Do you think that Lizzo has a chance of getting, these people winning this suit, or Lizzo basically getting away with it? I don't know. It just feels like to me that these people are reaching a little bit, but if there's a way that they could prove all of this in a court, then we'll see if Lizzo settles, then it's like, okay, then girl, you probably did mess up. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Sidebar, what do you think about the backlash Tyler the Creator has been receiving this week over all those dug up tweets? I used to listen to a lot a couple of years ago, but I really don't anymore. I have to say this, I haven't really been diving deep into this whole Tyler the Creator thing. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna save that story and for tomorrow so I can dig more into it. I did see there was a couple of people that did videos on it. I want to see what they gotta say. Of course, I'll still have my own opinion, and I want to read the articles on what it was that he had said, because I know a lot of people see, this is the thing, a lot of people will find reasons to like dig up a lot of um things that you say from the past, and it resurfaces. I've been noticing this has been happening a lot lately, and it's to be expected. But I remember somebody was bringing up something other that somebody got mad. Well, Tyler got mad when someone brought up the fact that he covets white men. And it looked like there was a month that Tyler looked like he was ready to fight. And then when I worked his show, the Cornucopia, Chromucopia, how the fuck you say that name? Tour. His show, let me tell you, he puts on a great show. He had a lot of fans. A lot of these gave me these hotel black kind of a lot of white kids in the audience. So I could definitely see why people would be going hard on him, especially because of the chokehold he has on a lot of white people who listen to his music, particularly a lot of young white boys and girls, because that was what it was a lot of in the audience. And I was on I was in the sixth floor, so I was close to the stage, wherever, and then you could feel that heat that was coming up in there, and it was a good show. One of somebody came in and was like, "You want to take a break?" Nope, I want to sit and watch this show. So I will say like, um Tyler definitely gives a good show, but I can't, deny the fact that some of the stuff he has said is problematic. But I definitely want to look more into it and do more research on it before I want to give my full opinion, because I do like his music. I even like the new album. So yeah, that'll probably be a topic tomorrow. He said Lizzo is trolling her own music career. Okay. I've been listening to a lot of Olivia Rodrigo recently, mostly her rock adjacent songs. Super excited for whenever she drops a third. Well, next year it'll probably she'll definitely be coming out with a new album in 2026. It's been a minute. The lighter, the wider, the lighter the wallet, the tighter the squeeze. Okay, that's usually how it goes. It all started with Tyler liking a tweet about how his fans, 95% being white males with edge lord humor, don't appreciate him honoring black folks because they had no idea. Well, yeah, you know what? So he was mad. Wait, you said, oh, wait, you saying, I don't know why it's like not processing. You said liking a tweet about how his fans don't appreciate him honoring black artists because they had no idea who D'Angelo. And yeah, he went on. Didn't he go on a whole tangent about D'Angelo? And that's not something you should have been liking because they probably feeling like that. It's very performative. Like you kind of wear your blackness. You put on the black, you take it off and put it on when you feel like it. Which was kind of like this video that I was watching earlier. That was kind of like the accusations that people was throwing regarding Bo DeMayo, where they felt like, especially when it came down to the stuff regarding X-Men 97 and him going in on social media and all this other stuff, and how people felt like you pretty much sidelined Storm and then you didn't give Sunspot, like he was a little too light bright for they liking and all this other stuff, and don't feel like you probably fought hard enough to get that black characters the representation they needed instead of making Storm sort of like a Manny on the show, being, cheerleading Jean Grey and all this other stuff when she is one of the most powerful mutants in the world. And that's the thing that pissed me off about Bryan Singer, the way he sidelined Storm. And I'm like, wait a minute. Now you're gonna have Halle Berry, Academy Award winning actress, up in this damn movie, and you sidelining her from Wolverine goddamn Ream, and all she doing is bringing wind and rain. I was like, no, Storm could do way more than that. So hopefully when we get this new X-Men reboot, all these characters will be done justice. But it kind of reminds me of that. It's like you can't just take the blackness and put it on and off whenever the hell you feel like it. So I'd have dragged your ass too. And you can't be up in here talking about how you love D'Angelo and then you mad over the fact that people don't know who he is. But I did hear that speaking of which, D'Angelo's music jumped. Let me see if I can find that thing. It was about how much a skyrocket. It says I know I was gonna find it. D'Angelo's streams, they said jumped nearly 800% following his death. Three songs land on R&B top 10 charts. So yeah, it's funny how in death y'all don't start appreciating people till they die, but at least now y'all out here paying attention to who this man is, and y'all can appreciate the genius that was behind Mr. D'Angelo. So yeah, they said according to Billboard, D'Angelo's song catalog pulled a 16.1 million official on-demand stream from October 10th through October 16th, a 796% increase from the 1.8 million on-demand streams from the previous week. Three of those songs, Untitled, How Does, of course, going to be the songs that we all that are the most popular. Untitled, How Does It Feel? Brown Sugar, I Want Some of Your Brown Sugar. And You're My Lady, You're My Lady. That song, I love that song too. All registered over 1.9 million streams by themselves. Those songs were D'Angelo's highest charting songs on the Billboard Hot 100 chart, with Lady peaking at number 10, Untitled, How Does It Feel at 25, and Brown Sugar at 27. Brown sugar, babe. I was high on your love, don't know how to behave. And you said those songs also debuted on the Billboard Hot R&B Songs chart, which Billboard created in 2012. Untitled starts at number 7, Lady right behind at number 8, and Brown Sugar at number 10. Two songs from D'Angelo's Black Messiah also charted on the Hot R&B Songs chart, with Really Love number 14, Sugar Daddy. Who doesn't want one of those? At number 22, both of which peaked 1 month after the album's release on December 2014. So if you don't know, now you know. Tyler fans, you better get on who D'Angelo is. This is what I don't understand. Y'all be out here liking black music, but y'all don't sit up in here and appreciate the black artists. Y'all just, I guess maybe they just like Tyler getting up there on stage and doing a little strut and tap dance when he be up on them stage performing. I say, if I was Tyler, I would just deactivate the account. Ariana deactivated her account, and now no one can dig up the tweets of her using child. Vinny has announced that Billy and him has started album number 4, no release date yet, but it's in the early process. We learned 10 songs is a perfect Billie Eilish with lo-fi beats and bedroom pop. Well, I'm looking forward to it because I love me some Billie Eilish, and I liked working her tour as well. So I'm looking forward to the new music. Tyler can't escape from the consequences of his actions. I feel no type of ways of him getting drugged or dragged. Well, drugged as in dragged. You'll never get another close to an hour-long album. Well, it depends on who's the artist, but we'll see. It said Tyler's stuff was far too much. The dragging was overdue. Okay. I didn't listen to D'Angelo as much as I would have liked to. Never listened to Voodoo in full. I know his important and influence in the neo soul genre, but I never got hooked. Well, look, I'm not gonna hold you. Everything isn't for everybody. Like I always feel like some people feel like, oh, but if you don't get into a certain artist, if you don't appreciate them the same way that you appreciated them, if they don't, if the person that you associate or are conversing with don't appreciate an artist the way you appreciate them, they get mad. I'm like, okay, so you may not like his stuff, but if you like Jill Scott or Erica Badu or Music Soul Child or Flowetry or any one of those other artists, that's just as great. You don't necessarily have to like D'Angelo. Not everybody was a fan of his. I mean, I grew up listening to his music, so yeah, I was a fan. And I told you I was a part of that whole dirty backpack era of that type of music, the roots and all of that. Like I said, Billy has been boring the heck out of me recently. She needs to do something different out of my main four Gen Z pop girls. She's the most uninterested in me. I didn't particularly care for her last album. I thought it was a little too slow for me, but I like all her earlier stuff. So Billy was in Charlotte just yesterday too, so she might be she might be out there working on music in a studio, whatever the case was. But these days, you don't really need a studio. Like they said, you can build your own studio in your out of your bedroom and put something together. Get you a mic, some headphones, a little little laptop computer, and do what you're doing there. Tate McRae, when I worked her show, that's what she was about. I started making music in my own bedroom and blah 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 blah. And where they had me stationed, because I was working North Entry, so I had to make sure everybody who had a wristband and all this other stuff where they needed to go direct to other people because she had two pits. So I had to make sure that the people that was in the other pit, pit B, went to the other side. Pit A could come through where I was at. Um, it's a whole lot to remember when you work at certain stations and where certain suites are and all that other stuff. And she was literally right behind me on the B stage because at some point when I came back from my break, she was on the B stage. I'm like, well, damn, that was quick that she got up there. And so they had to keep the security had to hold like a rope to make sure that I wasn't coming out on the sides where she was. And then it was like they had to make like we had to close off my area because when she comes off the B stage and people trying to come out, I was like, y'all gotta wait because Tay's about to come off the B stage. She gotta get to the A stage, and y'all gotta wait over here until we get her secured to get back to where she gotta go, and then y'all can come in. It's a whole situation that goes on with these shows, but that's what happened. I'm like, damn, I didn't. She was like that close to me or whatever. I was like, okay, she can. It was a good show though. She definitely gives show. I didn't get to see most of it because where I was like, I had to be more attentive to the people. But for what I got to see, it was a good show. She definitely dances down and sings live. But I did notice at some points there was some pre-recorded vocals was loud when she was getting up there doing her choreography and stuff. But they said J. Randy Taraboli feels people need to admit Secret Garden was also a precursor to Neo Soul, but because it closed erotica album, it gets uncredited. Madonna dabbled in all different types of music. She was doing New Jack Swing. She was doing, she was dabbling in. I think she's pretty much dabbled in every genre known to man. I don't know what type of sound she's gonna be able to come out with this new album, but I'm looking forward to hearing it. All right, y'all. So now let's get back into the show and let's talk about Gen Z because apparently there's been a new poll or a study that has come out that says that teens are craving relatability and authentic representation and don't want to see a lot of sex and things of that nature in their TV shows and movies. So UCLA Center for Scholars and Storytellers released its annual Teens and Screens report on Wednesday, that'd be today, yielding eye opening insights into the tastes and preferences of young media consumers. This year's report is titled Get Real Relatability on Demand, as the findings show that teens and youth are craving relatability and authentic representation across a myriad of metrics as they relate to media. There's yet more data out lending credence to the theory of Gen Z's purported prudishness. That was what Rolling Stone said, by the way, with nearly half the respondents to a new study saying there's too much sex and sexual content in TVs and movies. So they said this survey was conducted in August with a sample group of 1,500 adolescents and young adults aged 10 to 24, reflective of general Gen Z demographics in the U.S. with regards to race, gender, and geographic region. This is according to the study. Now, while studies have suggested that the number of sex scenes in movies have declined significantly, which is a fact, since 2000, with last year's perhaps representing a slight uptick, 48.4% of respondents in the teens and screen study said there was still too much sexual content in movies and TV shows. What the hell are y'all watching? Because some of the shows and TV shows and movies I be watching, they ain't really no sex up in it. I mean, my thing is, I don't have a problem with sex or like if it's sex for sex sake, I'm like okay. But um, if it doesn't serve the story, we don't need boobs and ass and dick and all that other stuff thrown up in a film. But when Gen Z get so damn prudish, because quiet as it's kept, maybe what it is that it's the era of social media. A lot of y'all is too confined to your phones and laptops and tablets and things of that nature. So you're getting a lot of your content from there. Plus, adult cinematography is way more accessible on social media than it is with you getting laid in real life. And a lot of times I feel like a lot of Gen Z is struggling to try to find companionship and get dates and girlfriends and things like that. Because I was hearing that there's a bit of a struggle with boys approaching girls because I guess girls is coming on with attitudes or whatever the case was, or guys don't really know how to they don't know how to court women, specifically this generation. And because I've had conversations with a bunch of young Gen Zers, and they'll sit up here and say that or not even that. It was like people I've worked with. And they've had conversations where it's just like, oh, they be trying to talk to girls, and it's like you can't even say hello to a girl without them thinking like the worst. It's like, damn, I just say, hey, what's up? It's like you acting like I'm trying to bang you in the corner or something. Relax. I'm gonna say bro relax, but relax. So they said while studies have suggested that the number of sex scenes in movies. Okay, I think I read that part already. Additionally, now I remember where I was at. 60.9% said they wanted to see relationships on screen that were more about the friendship between the couple than sex, while 59.7% said they want stories with the central relationships are friendships. And I think it's because people tend to value friendships more than they do sex. And I think it's because it's that camaraderie. And maybe because a lot of these kids, like I said, they're so confined to technology, and technology has taken over, like become such a big part of their lives that they crave that friendship, that companionship, and they want to see that represented in the movies they watch and the TV shows that they watch. Friendship ranked third out of 19 in topics adolescents want to see on screen. Romance ranked third to last with only 36.5% reporting high interest. Furthermore, 54.1% of respondents said they wanted to see stories about people who are uninterested in romance, with that number rising to 57.1% among teens 18 and under. More than half of respondents, 54.9%, said they wanted to see more mixed gender relationships where the characters prioritize their friendship instead of turning it into a romantic relationship. Well, look, I know a lot of people are going to be mad about that one regarding the mixed gender relationships, but here's the thing: there's more mixed race people running around more than ever. So, and me as a mixed race child, I approve. But I do think that we need to see more black on black relationships. I want to see more black love on the screen. I want to see more people of their own races where it's like they're coming together. Not saying like I'm against mixed race because I do, but I do feel like black people's gripe is that there's way too much push of that you can't be seen or more you're more acceptable if a black man is dating a white woman and vice versa, or you see a black woman with a white man and all that. So they have to be in mixed race relationships because y'all don't value black relationships. So that's the overall argument that you get from black people. So why can't we have all the things? I would like to see a lot of that. I would like to see more mixed gender relationships. Oh, they said mixed gender. I'm sitting there talking about mixed race, but that still applies, mixed race. But they want to see mixed gender relationships where it's like, yeah, that a guy can be friends with a girl and it's not sexual. And there are those friendships that exist. There are guys who have good female friends that are not sexual. They see them as like their friend, and it's not they're not gay. There are literally straight guys who can have girlfriends and girls who have guy friends, but it's not a sexual thing. Why can't we show that? That everything doesn't have to be sexual with the opposite sex. Like, yeah, there are friendships, valid friendships that happen with that. I know my cousins always said like people always be thinking like you can't be friends with a man as a girl. And she's like, I got plenty of male friends that I've never slept with. And I think when you're secure enough in who you are, you can have those friendships. I just think that a lot of that comes from insecurity where people feel like, oh no, you can't have a friend of the opposite gender and all those other excuse you. Why not? Because you feeling away and you've been cheated on in your life, so you think that everybody because you haven't dealt with a lot of the things, the trauma that was in your life, now you want to project that on your new relationship, and you wonder why that you can't maintain a relationship because you still carrying a lot of those insecurities from the past into your new shit. So the mixed race one, I'm still on that one, even though I misread it. And as I said, mixed gender relationships. Now, the responses to the bonus question, what's your favorite show or movie, were also decidedly unsexy. The top three were Stranger Things, Wednesday, and SpongeBob SquarePants, where Spider Man and Family Guy were tied for fourth. Ciao. Uh, okay, Stranger Things, I get it because Stranger Things is all about like, these group of teens that value friendship and they fight demogorgons and all the other stuff. So I get that. Wednesday, love the first season. Second season was trash. And SpongeBob, yeah, I do love SpongeBob. Hey, Squidward. It's like I like SpongeBob. SpongeBob, I grew up watching that. So, and then Spider-Man, I love Spider-Man. Looking forward to the new one, brand new day. Family Guy, I definitely love Family Guy because it's Seth MacFarlane. And then he said tied at six were two shows where romance does play a big role. The Vampire Diaries and The Summer I Turned Pretty. Now, I've never seen The Summer I Turned Pretty. I do see it gets advertised a lot. However, I did watch The Vampire Diaries. And I love the Salvatore brothers and Nina Dobrev, which they still trying to make us believe that she and Zach Efron are hunching. Girl, nobody believes that. Um, not even with them frosted tips he got. But yeah, I love the Vampire Diaries. I even thought about going back and rewatching that show. The show was good back when it was on the CW. That's when I used to watch it because I was in my whole. I hated Twilight. Funny enough, I hated Twilight, but I love the Vampire Diaries, and they kind of all float in the same boat, except. So Twilight was so damn annoying. Vampire Diaries at least had a little edge to it. But if we talking about the litmus test of the CW, it had a little edge to it. So that's what I liked about it. And plus, I like Paul Wesley. That was another thing. Paul Wesley, child, that boy, that boy was fine. Him and Ian Somerhalder. And yeah, I like Nina Dobrev. She has spoken out over the years that she was treated unfairly with the pay on that show. And then I believe she quit after a while because the behind the scenes, the people way they was treating her on that damn show, the producers and stuff. So she was like, I'm walking away because y'all thinking like y'all don't value what I'm bringing to the show. And she played a multitude of characters. So how dare you treat Nuna Dobrev the way y'all treat her? But nevertheless, that's these kids' favorite show. And they said these findings are in line with those in teens and screen studies from the past couple years. For instance, in last year's survey, 63.5% of teens strongly agree with wanting to see content that focuses on platonic relationships and friendships, up from 51.5% in 2023. And in 2024's survey, 62.4% of respondents agreed with the hate statement, saying, I feel that sex and sexual content is not needed for the plot of most TV shows and movies, up significantly from 47.5% in 2023. But here's the thing. Like I said, if it is a plot point, if it makes sense for those characters to have a sex scene, then why not? I just feel like, yeah, y'all being a little too conservative, a little too prudish. But if you're throwing sex in something for sex sake, then it's like, okay, we can see through the mess. But this is what they talking about. But then y'all talking about Gen Z, but what about the rest of us? Because they not, I mean, I understand like the industry, they care mostly about what young people are doing because they always want to pander everything to the younger generation. But the younger generation does not consume TV and movies. They call it content. They look at all of this as content. We look at things like if we're watching a show, it's a TV series. If we're watching a movie, it's a movie. They look at everything as content, kind of like you watching me right now. This is considered content instead of like a visual podcast. But this is the way they look at stuff. And my thing is like, can the industry please stop always trying to pander to the youth? Like they're the ones with the disposable income. First of all, that disposable income comes from their parents, who are Gen X, elder millennials. So that's where they're getting them coins from. So let's not overlook those of us who are elder millennials, zennials, and Gen X, and and I guess the boomers. The boomers, y'all got regular TV. But the stuff that we talking about and stuff here is just like, yeah, let's not overlook everybody else because they're the one, the older people are the ones paying for these Gen Zers to be able to watch what they watch and next Gen Alpha and beyond. And I guess after Gen Alpha is Gen Beta. Will I even be alive when Gen Beta becomes a thing? I don't know. But nevertheless, this is the statistic, and I definitely want to hear from y'all about this poll. Do you agree with this poll? Do you feel that there's way too much sex and things? Maybe I've just been naive and I haven't noticed if there's been a lot of sex and stuff because I don't really be watching. I don't get well. Maybe it's on the ads and things, but I don't watch a lot of ads and stuff because I buy a lot of the tiers that I pay for with streaming services. I pay for no ads, so the only ads I would see would either be from YouTube or Peacock. I don't pay for ads with. I mean, I don't pay the full thing with that. I do the ad thing because I'm like, I don't need to have the thing. But now I'm starting to think that maybe I do. But then y'all just raise y'all price. So no, I'm good. But but yeah, so I definitely want to hear from y'all. Do y'all think that there is too much sex and stuff in a lot of the movies, a lot of TV shows, and these kids are being bombarded with it? Maybe they're seeing it in other places, or maybe that because they're seeing so much adult stuff on social media wherever they looking. I ain't snitching, but whatever y'all know to look, y'all been looking. So now they don't want to see. They see it so much everywhere else that they don't want to see it in the TV shows and the movies that they watch. But like I said, if it's crucial for it to be, if it needs to be part of the story, if you need to include sex and stuff, that's the way it should be. Don't just throw it in there for the sake of throwing it in there. But I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. You said, I love how you use a scene from the summer I turned pretty for the topic. I watched that show and cried over the finale. And you said, I think the access to porn being so wide, it actually ruins it. Yeah, and it could be that. And I think it's like, yeah, these kids have no kind of connection when it comes to sex. So they want to see like they value friendships and just that connection that just they want that natural connection. And I think it's because of the digital age. So because it's easy access to get to adults. Look, they even said that young boys are getting ED at a very young age because a lot of them are on social media. They're they're getting their pleasures from watching stuff online, so they're getting their rocks off by handling their own business, if you know what I'm saying, and I think you do. And they're not getting that from being in a relationship with a girl. So it's like I could just watch whatever I want to watch, any kind of category, whatever. Okay, you parents think y'all blocking stuff. These kids know how to get around all of that, and get their rocks off on their own. They, that song like from Pink, "You in Your Hand," that's literally them, and that's how they're pretty much getting around. And so they go about their day. So now they just want to be like, okay, so I can get my own nut off. So a lot of them becoming sides. It's like I won't be a top or a bottom. I'm gonna be a side. Uh, Instead of y'all walking side to side, you're gonna be a side. And so um that's what's happening now. And now it's like they just want to see that natural friendship, connection, whatever, in in their movies instead of sex. Boys need to ditch Joe Rogan and yeah, these incels that are pretty much just the worst when it comes to like sex and companionship. Because they're listening to these morons in regards of how to court women. And don't even get me started on Andrew Tate and them allegations. And you said, instead of video games, it's been proven that things boys like turn girls off. Boys into also feel living in a past Me Too world makes it harder for them to prove I'm not gonna take advantage of you. I just watched Boots yesterday. It's a good show. I think if there's a second season, it'll be set during Desert Storm. I definitely want to check that show. I haven't gotten around to watching it yet. I've just been watching a lot of horror films, but And I just been catching up on a lot of YouTube videos and things. So I haven't gotten into it, but I'm gonna definitely check that show. I've been hearing great things about it. Notice how the only shows they named as their favorites were popular years ago. That is true. Because I'm like, Vampire Diaries, I'm like, that's kind of my show. Why would y'all Gen Zers be watching Vampire Diaries? And it said Stranger Things too, if you want to count that. Yeah. And I already told you, I didn't particularly care for the second season. Most younger people, especially teens, watch a lot of things on YouTube. I notice young kids like my niece and nephew. Yeah. And I think I'm becoming one of them because I spend, funny enough, I spend so much money on streaming services. And I already told y'all, I watch more YouTube than I watch anything else. Speaking of which, I got to rewatch Dracula. I don't know what's been going on. I don't know if this Dracula Titan season is boring, but every night, every week, 3 episodes in, I have literally fallen asleep on every episode. I get through halfway, and then when we get to the part where by the time they get to the floor show, I am knocked out. What is going on? Is this season kind of boring? I don't know. I need my Dracula people to get in the comments and be like, am I bugging, or is it just maybe I'm tired? He said, I also think the rise of neoconservatism. Oh, yeah, it could be that too. Like, yeah, with the way that, especially Donald Trump and everything in the last 10 years, this generation, Gen Z, has become way more conservative. I think Gen Alpha will be the one to turn things around. But for the most part, yeah, Gen Z have become way more conservative. So I do think that neoconservatism is playing a big part. If I'm being real, I don't care to watch shows. I rather read books. The Summer I Turned Pretty is an adaptation of a book series of the same name. Watch a sex scene. Why watch a sex scene when you could read? True. It's that you could read it in the book and let your imagination run wild. He said, Hell Motel was fun slasher show. Why they kill Will? Couldn't they unallow Grace in such a graphic bloody way? You know what? I don't think I even watched that show. I know it's on Shutter. I gotta watch that too. Speaking of which, did y'all know that there's a remake of The Hand That Rocks the Cradle that's on Hulu? I don't know if it's out already, but I did see that they were making the rounds and they were talking about that it is supposed to appear on Hulu. I think it might be on tomorrow. I gotta check. That's why I'm looking now on my phone. I'm like, is it up yet? Yes, it is. Bitch, it's out. So yeah, there's a remake of The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. I was thinking what I was going to do is I was going to watch the old one with Rebecca De Mornay and Annabella Sciorra, and right after that one, I was going to watch the remake and compare them. I heard they're like two different movies, but no one beats that. No one, nothing beats the original one. I love that original one, even down to Ernie Hudson playing the mentally handicapped dude. I was going to say y'all were, but you know. How, I know how y'all are on this damn algorithm thing, so we can't say it. I got no hope. It also doesn't help. Most of the show is set in a predominantly white beach town and country club. That could be that too, especially in this era of like rich and elite and all that other stuff. And them people trying to take over and the haves and the have-nots. Okay, y'all. So now, all right. So now it's down to our final four topics. So before we get to our final four, if you could please do me a solid and hit that like button if you have not already, please do so. And also hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Please and thank you. Now, without further ado, let's talk about the Diddler. So there's a story that's going around that apparently Diddy had a brush with death while he was behind bars in that prison in Brooklyn. You know, the one that he's currently staying at alongside Luigi Mangione and Austin Wolf. So let's get into it. So according to the Daily Mail, a knife-wielding goon got close enough to the diddler to press a makeshift blade to his throat. This is what the rapper's best friend told, as I stated, the Daily Mail. Lifelong pal Charlucci Finney claims an inmate armed with a shiv snuck into Diddy's New York jail cell and could have red rummed the shame hip hop mogul in his sleep. Saying, quote, he woke up with a knife to his throat. This is what Finney said, revealing previously unreported details of a chilling close call inside the notoriously violent Metro Detention Center in Brooklyn. I didn't know whether he fought them off or the guards came. I just know that it happened. And how do you know this happened? Because Diddy told you? And this is where I'm side-eyeing this because I'm like, okay, now if there's some truth to this, I'm glad that he's okay. However, comma, I'm not buying what they are selling because Diddy is trying to find any way to re-up this situation and find a way to get out of jail or to be transferred somewhere else. He has been pulling every goddamn stunt under the sun. And so this feels like another notch on his belt where he's trying to pull this. I want to know if there's any kind of report because there had to be some paperwork filed where a knife was held to his throat. Somebody came across it. So, I mean, first of all, how did he get in the cell? Number one, was there anybody? Was it seen on any of the security cameras? And of course, if it was seen on the security cameras and something went down, and the security came in, when the COs came in and put the guy, pulled the guy back and put him in solitary confinement for allegedly trying to red rum the mogul, wouldn't there be some paperwork? Because any kind of incident, there needs to be an incident report. So Finney, who has known Diddy, real name Sean the Diddler Combs, who's 55, for more than 3 decades, believes the brush with death was a warning rather than a genuine murder attempt. He said if this guy had wanted to harm him, Sean would have been harmed. It would only take a second to cut his throat with a weapon and unalive him. It was probably a way to say next time you ain't gonna be so lucky. Everything is intimidation, but with Sean, it won't work. Sean is from Harlem. What that mean? Because we heard the stories, especially when I watched some documentaries that was coming out about Diddy and the whole thing with him in jail. I mean, like before he went and got locked up, and this whole case that was coming out regarding the freak offs and those other matters. The one that I watched, I think it was on HBO Max. There was like a 5-parter or whatever. There was somehow like he was getting sunned a lot when he was from Harlem, and he found ways to get around it and stand up for himself. And I think over the years, because he was getting bullied and all the other stuff, when he got into a place of power, he started using his money, power, and influence to intimidate others because he had the security, he had the wherewithal for people to protect him in a lot of those situations. Hence why he was able to flex because he had the financial wherewithal to do so. So, what's that? What Harlem got to do with anything? It ain't the same as saying I'm from Brooklyn. Where I'm from Brownsville, child. So Diddy's lawyers raised the threat of violence on several occasions during the Bad Boy founder's federal sex trafficking trial. Now, defense attorney Brian Steele told the court that in one instance, an MDC inmate wielding a shiv, a makeshift right knife, or razor was stopped by a guard. The culprit was trying to earn prestige by hurting Diddy. This is according to Steele. The Grammy winner has spent the last 13 months languishing inside of the grim lockup, which is plagued by drug abuse, violence, and understaffing. Diddy's lawyers want him to serve the remainder of his 50-month sentence for prostitution offenses at a much safer and cushier FCI Fort Dix in Hanover Township, New Jersey. I heard Fort Dix ain't that safe either. They've written to Judge Aaron Submaranian urging him to recommend the low security facility to the Federal Bureau of Prisons so their multi-millionaire client can attend a drug rehab program and enjoy better access to his family. The transfer will come as a massive relief to record producer Finney, who's 60, who was an ever present at Diddy's 8-week trial wearing t-shirts and caps emblazoned with free puff. His staffers, they say he suffered sleepless nights worrying that his famous pal, a father of 7, will be targeted by clout-chasing inmates. Sean has kept a lot of this stuff to himself because he doesn't want to worry his family, but if you're in jail and you've been charged with anything sexual, it's not a good place to be, Finney said. Well, child, tell that to Austin Woke because I think his days is number 2. The prisoners take it personal. They look at it like it could have been my mom, my auntie, my daughter. They try to get what they call prison justice. And you have to understand we are not talking about a regular person. We're talking about Diddy. But why do we feel like because he's a celebrity, he should be given extra treatment? Like my thing is, you do the crime, you do the time. And unlike outside of prison where it's sort of like there's levels where there's the haves and the have-nots, and the haves get better taken care of and get the red carpet rolled out for them and their ass kissed and they taint licked and all the other stuff with all the spoilations that come with that. When you in prison, you in equal footing. They don't give a good goddamn who you are. And yeah, there could be a sense of, well, I want to prove myself around these people. And yeah, I'm trying to flex because then, yeah, I could go around and be like, ain't nobody gonna F with me because I knifed Diddy. And it's like, yeah, that is a good notch to have on your belt. But Diddy should have thought about doing all of that before he did what he did. Because, like my mama always said, you do the crime, you do the time. So I don't feel no ways tired about him dealing, if this is all true, him dealing with what he dealing with behind bars. You should have thought of that before you did what you did. Before you was running around here beating and kicking on Cassie and doing all the abusive things that you was doing to many of your staff members allegedly, and throughout your tenure as a mogul and a producer and a rapper. I write rhymes. I don't write rhymes. I write checks and all that other mess. So yeah, they complain about the inhumane conditions and all that other stuff. And then I'm looking at one of his work performance rating inmate, and they said on June 10th, apparently they managed to get their hands on this. I don't know how the Daily Mail got their hands on this. Somebody wrote in their own handwriting, excellent class, keep up the great work. Child, they got his register number up in here and everything. 37452-054. Evaluation period 8/01/2025 to 8/31/2025. And the way they check the quality of work, they picked 5 outstanding, does superior work. Quantity of work. He got number 5, check, outstanding, drives self exceptionally hard all I mean, drives self exceptionally hard all the time. Initiative. 5, outstanding, has good ideas on better ways of doing things. Well, he's a businessman, so of course he does. Interest or eagerness to learn, and got a 5, outstanding, eager to master job, wants to know everything there is to know about it, may read up on own time or volunteer to do things that will improve knowledge. Ability to learn, he got outstanding, very quick to learn, excellent memory, is learning much more rapidly than most inmates assigned here, never makes the same mistake twice. Well, because he was a mogul and doing all that kind of business stuff, he's a quick learner and will not mess up on that situation. And then needs for supervision, dependability, safety, care of equipment. They said number 5, no supervision required, completely dependable in all things. So we know Diddy's smart. That goes without saying. So um to me, this feels like, I mean, look, like I said before, if he's going through some things behind bars, somebody's over here trying to flex, whatever. Maybe I guess put him in. I mean, I don't know if you want to do solitary confinement. That could do a whole lot on your psyche. But like I said, you should have thought about if this turns out to be true, and this is not just some ruse that y'all trying to use to move him to a much safer facility. So y'all trying to pull whatever stunt you can, even trying to say, oh, they trying to kill him behind the scenes in jail. If this is true, then it's like, okay, maybe I need to do what y'all got to. There should be some type of, like I said, some incident report that y'all could use to push for the judge or whatever. Be like, okay, we figured out where we want to move him. Can you please sign off on this and then get the transfer going? But like I said, I can't feel ways about somebody who did a crime and now you got to pay for what you did for them 4 years and 2 months until you get out. And stop trying to pull every stunt that you can to try to get out of jail, including trying to allegedly say that you were harmed or somebody could have harmed you because you want to get out. So I'll keep you guys abreast of this story as it develops. But so far, it just seemed like Daily Mail was the only one that reported this. So we could take this with it because they're a tabloid also. So I don't know. While there may be some truth to it, I'm side eyeing a little bit too. That this could be Diddy friend saying this. I don't know if I buy it 110%. So I say all this to say I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? Do you believe it? And yeah, do you believe it? So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Do you believe it or not? Most Gen Z men are also religious as well. Basically, the reason why Gen Z men and Gen Z women aren't dating is two different ideologies. Gen Z women aren't religious or conservative. They're dating millennial men who are atheists, feminists, and not conservative. Well, I just think like men and women are on a different page with a lot of situations. Even Trump's administration is saying no parting is happening at all. Basically, they're trying and not realizing that, yeah, Trump's not your friend. Well, Trump is mad because Diddy was conspiring against him, I guess, when he was running for president and all that stuff. So he's mad about that. Trump holds a grudge that if you don't believe in everything that he says lockstep. If you're not kissing his ass, he wants no parts of who you are. So he's on his little revenge tour right now. Anything that anybody like with anybody who didn't vote for him, he's gutting a lot of aid and things. Like he's about to cut SNAP benefits. So and literally before Thanksgiving. So a lot of people are gonna go hungry. And he don't realize, or maybe he does, but just doesn't care. But this is going to affect a lot of his voters because a lot of you people in red states are the ones who mostly depend on SNAP benefits. Yeah, he part in that tight ass failed drag queen. It's funny, it's two drag queens failed. Uh JD Vance and George Santos. Now that Diddy looking for pity. Besides, they would say that they should save that energy for Austin Will too. Okay, that's what I say. But anyway, y'all, let's move on. Let's get into some homosexual news. And let's talk about David Geffen. So we got a little tea regarding David Geffen and what's going on in his little marriage situation to that little boy toy he done married. So hold on. Because I was like, where the picture at? Found her. Okay, so now we can get into some things. So Donovan Michaels apparently has dropped a civil lawsuit against his estranged husband, David Geffen, for an alleged breach of contract. The 82-year-old mogul is in the middle of a messy breakup with his much younger spouse, Donovan Michaels, aka David Armstrong, a 32-year-old former go-go dancer who made headlines in July for filing a salacious lawsuit alleging Geffen breached a contract. In the lawsuit, Michael alleges that Geffen used a toxic mix of seduction, control, promises of love, and lavish displays of wealth to entrap him in a cycle of dependency, submission, and humiliation. So basically, you're saying he was love bombing you and you fell under his spell. Among the more eyebrow raising claims, Michael said Geffen forced him to have all his body hair lasered off and once flew into a rage over an ingrown hair. The pair met in 2016 on seekingarrangements.com. Oh, and tied the knot in 2023 without a prenup. We won't prenup. We won't prenup. A shocking move given Geffen's fortune estimated at $8.7 billion by Forbes. Now, on Monday, court documents obtained by Daily Mail show Michael's attorney, Brian Friedman, who also represents Justin Baldoni in his legal battle with Blake Lively, filed a motion to dismiss the suit without prejudice, meaning the case is being ended temporarily and Armstrong can refile at a later date. Daily Mail has not received a response and his request for comment from Friedman or Geffen. Now, as for the financial conflicts, Michaels has previously claimed he's entitled to community property. Friedman told TMZ on Tuesday that the issues will be resolved in mediation. Court filings for by Geffen in September show he's willing to pay up to $50,000 a month in spousal support, but only for a year and only if he gets credit for what he's already paid, according to TMZ. Child, you better take that money. You better be smart with it. Unlike Kevin Fraudeline, who went and pissed away all that money. And I heard he's $100 million in debt, Kevin Federline, and that damn book is a flop. So Donovan, you better do what you can. You better save that coin. And when the shit dry up, you better start you a little OnlyFans and fork out he has. Filings reveal Geffen has already dished out $200,000 in cash since their February split, another $200,000 for rehab, plus the keys to a $15,000 a month Manhattan apartment rent free. Bitch. Now, if I had me a man that was like David Geffen, trust and believe, I'd be living up in that luxurious apartment. And when it's time for me to go, I'm a I'd probably take some of that money, buy me a condo, pay the whole thing off. Condo's like what, 250K? depending. Buy me a nice little condo, and I'll be set for life. All I got to worry about is paying the amenities. Just pay the whole shit off. I'm like, yeah, if I get the luxury of living in Manhattan for the rest of my life, oh, I take it. And I found other ways of making money, honey. So now they said in Michael's civil suit filing, he said their split came after Geffen filed for divorce back in May and is not about a mere personal falling out. Instead, he alleged the breakdown was about the systemic exploitation of a vulnerable, marginalized young black man by a wealthy, powerful, white gay billionaire who believed himself untouchable. And here's the thing: why do I feel like Donovan is one of those that likes to weaponize and turn on like the blackness like a light switch? We was talking about this earlier in the show, where it's like, oh, now it's like when you wasn't thinking about all that then, but now he's exploiting a vulnerable, marginalized young poor black man who clearly saw dollar signs when he got with this wealthy gay homosexual white billionaire. Come on now. Don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining, in the words of Judge Judy. Behind the I mean, I'm not hating on you for the little stuntation that you pulling, because look, if I'm gonna get me a man that's in his 80s and I'm 30 something years old and and I got me an old cat daddy and he taking care of me for a certain amount of time, I already know what I'm getting out of the deal. So squeeze as much juice out of the lemon as you can. Behind the glittering facade of the relationship was a calculated pattern of abuse and commodification. This is what the 33-page legal document or complaint alleged. Now, in his complaint, Michael said that while in Florida, he fell into exotic dancing and X-rated videos, and that in order to survive, he went on seekingarrangements.com, a website he said connects people for mutually beneficial relationships, where Geffen contacted him and was more than eager to meet Michaels in person. So if that's a website that y'all already know what it is that it is for, which is it's literally a mutually beneficial situation, which means that yeah, if I'm on here looking for companionship and to be taken care of, why not? I mean, women do it to men all the damn time, so why the homosexuals can't do it? These women know what they're getting into when they get with these rich older men. Geffen allegedly paid Michaels 10 grand for sex on the night they first met back in 2016, and over time, their paid sexual relationship developed into a romantic partnership, according to the lawsuit seen by the Daily Mail. Geffen told Michaels he loved him, and the two agreed to treat each other as life partners, share all assets equally, and that Geffen would support Michaels financially for life, the complaint stated. Michaels gave up his dreams, his modeling career, his independence to dedicate himself fully to the promise. The complaint also alleged that while Geffen was celebrating aboard his super yacht in Venice last month, surrounded by A-list guests ahead of the Jeff Bezos, talking about somebody who benefited from a marriage, Jeff Bezos' Laurence Sanchez wedding, he ordered Michaels to immediately vacate their New York home, a move that would leave him without a home. The suit claims at the very same time Geffen was decadently and extravagantly partying and dancing the night away in Venice, Italy, with the other 0.0001% of the wealthiest people on the planet. Geffen then allegedly cut off Michaels' financial support, making it impossible for him to secure stable housing or covering basic living expenses. This is why, no lie, a lot of y'all don't be thinking. Like, I be low key putting away some of that money in a little situation. So that way, that's my FU money. So if you're gonna try to put me on the street, it's like, okay, let me go up in there. That little money you give me every month, all that is adding up with interest, and I'm gonna take some of that money. I'm gonna give me a cute little apartment, a $1,200 or $2,500 a month apartment or whatever, and you can't tell me ish. Like, I found me a cute little apartment in New York and take care of myself, and then I reach out to my homosexual friends and have them try to hook me up with a job or something. Like, I get back in the like bartending or doing whatever I got to do to take care of myself. It's like, okay, now the rich man gonna pull the stuff that he want to pull. It's like, okay, well, it was fun while it lasted. I took your coins and I was smart enough to put it away in a savings that you ain't know about. Or maybe he would have, because sometimes with these rich folks, they be having people following them around doing all kinds of stunts and shows. But I would have found a way to be sneaky about it. Shit. I mean, Katie Holmes was able to find ways to slither her way out of the clutches of Tom Cruise. So anything is possible when you're dealing with powerful egomaniacal maniacs. Okay, so they also want to say while Geffen holds himself out of the public eye as an extraordinary charitable man whose foundation gives millions and millions of dollars to advocacy and support groups for the homeless, disadvantaged populations, is simultaneously endeavoring to render Michael's impoverished and homeless. And that's what I always say about that too. Just because, and people always think that two things can be true at the same time. Oh, I can't believe that because he gives to charity and he's always this. And there are people that will be one way in front of the public and just the most demonic person behind the scenes when they with their significant other. So two things can be true at the same time. You can be charitable in other ways, but that's also like a little tax write-off that you're doing as well. There's always a method to some of these rich folks' madness. I'm not saying they all shady or whatever, because I've encountered working in the business that I work in a lot of rich folks, and they all not assholes. But you do get these little certain ones every now and again that is like they all cute whatever in public, but then behind the scenes they literally like evil. A cross between Donald Trump and Stephen Miller. Two of those in one. That's like a horrible combination. So now, as well as Michael's claims about the final days together, it included a series of astonishing allegations about what went on during their relationship. Geffen also found additional ways to satisfy his unquenchable thirst for control over Michael's, the lawsuit claims. When backhanded they said with backhanded insults and put downs about Michael's past and lack of sophistication, Geffen cultivated Michael's insecurity and self-doubt. He critiqued every aspect of Michael's appearance and exercised strict control over his body hygiene. The billionaire record executive reportedly ordered his ex-lover to undergo extensive painful treatments to conform to his idea of perfection. Well, I guess a lot of these rich people feel like if I'm paying for it, I want to turn you into my own little personal Ken doll. It's giving us this is feeling like a scene out of Get Out, child. But anyway, so now Geffen required Michaels to undergo extensive, painful laser and dental treatments. Even something as minor as an ingrown hair would provoke Geffen's ire and prompt a barrage of instructions to correct the. Why do I feel like y'all being repetitive with the stuff? See, this is one thing I don't like about the Daily Mail. When y'all do y'all reports, feel like y'all get paid by the word. So y'all will literally stretch this shit out for like 10 minutes when it don't need to be. Just get to the damn point. You already made the point about the whole ingrown and laser treatments and all this stuff. Why are we repeating it? But anyway, so then he claimed that he was awestruck by Geffen, a philanthropist who talked the talk with the younger man, revealed issues during his underprivileged upbringing during an ill-fated couple's first meeting 9 years ago. In his complaint, Michael says that he opened up to Geffen, confiding in him about the painful realities of his life, his traumatic upbringing in the Michigan foster care system, his lack of a real family, his instability, and his prior run-ins with the law. He went on that he spoke candidly not to gain sympathy from Geffen, but because he believed he had finally found someone who could understand and maybe even care. But Michaels claimed his then future husband weaponized his vulnerability to fulfill his own personal fantasies, including the lucrative financial transaction he alleges was made on the first night they met. The former model turned go-go dancer claimed Geffen used Michael's tragic story not as a reason to offer genuine support, but as a grooming tool, casting himself as a savior, white knight, mentor, and gatekeeper to a better life. Also, did y'all know that Cher dated David Geffen for 2 years? She really know how to pick him. So then Michael said that the younger man claimed he became a private sexual object and the public prop that Geffen allegedly used to show off his self-proclaimed altruism to impress his powerful network. From that moment forward, Geffen began transporting Michaels across the globe as his paid sex worker. In the documents, Michaels claimed the mogul used him as a living social experiment, a trophy to show off to his wealthy friends under the guise of benevolence. In Geffen's September filing, handled by Hollywood go-to divorce shark Laura Wasser, didn't she do that name sound familiar? Didn't she just do Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck's divorce? Geffen claims he's bent over backwards to settle the ugly spousal support fight, but mediation tanked, and he accused Armstrong of trying to squeeze him with a media smear campaign. The mogul also reminded the court of the obvious. He said he was already 80 and long retired when he walked down the aisle, meaning there was no community property built up during the whirlwind 23-month marriage. In another filing, Geffen cut to the chase, asking the judge to legally declare him single per TMZ. He said that the marriage was undoubtedly irremediably broken down and makes it crystal clear he wants out as soon as possible. Geffen and Michaels reportedly tied the knot quietly in Beverly Hills. Now, just weeks later, the pair were spotted stepping off a Manhattan helipad with Geffen flashing a gold wedding band, the first public clue the mogul had made it official with his much younger beau. But Michaels was past that has a past that anything but polished. Okay, who cares? So it basically talks about, like, according to the tabloid, the New York Post, or the Republican newspaper, he did odd jobs while socializing in New York City modeling circles. I mean, who didn't do odd jobs while modeling? I mean, that's the thing that happens. They also mentioned that he was born in a small town of Michigan with the name David Armstrong. A friend told the Post, saying he came from a very humble beginning in a family of 13 kids. He changed his name to Brandon Foster by the time he moved to Florida in 2014 and began working as a dancer and promoter at Miami homosexual clubs. Now, friends told the Post that he was frequently seen along with plenty of other hot, sexy guys and attending clothing optional swim parties. His social media posts included numerous shirtless shots where he flaunted his fit body, including one from the year where he would be doing a little camming tonight. Y'all know what that means. He noted that for paying customers, he would put on a good show. Sometime between 2016 and 2017, he moved to NYC and started going by Donovan Michaels. A former girlfriend said she only knew of him dating women, but that she wouldn't be surprised if he were with men. Well, honey, he was living a double life. Basically saying he was very attractive. He could tell me, he would tell me people just assume that he was into guys from what he posts on Instagram. And a lot of times these guys queer bait and stuff, but I definitely feel like he was getting down with getting down. Who knows? Maybe he is bisexual. Maybe he is a homosexual and just come to terms with it. Or maybe he's just gay for pay and will do what he got to do to make sure that that check clears. He is whoever he wants to be or whoever you want him to be, as long as the check clears or whatever the case is. So, um, I'm wondering why he actually, with all this being said, it doesn't even say why he did it. But of course, the Daily Mail had to go on a whole 7 minute, it says in my 7 minute read. You had to do this whole 7 minute citation on every little thing, every little detail. And we love the details. But why did he drop the civil lawsuit? And they saying for an alleged breach of contract. Like, I want to know, because you said that David Geffen breached the contract with you in that whole situation. So I want to know, why did you drop it? There's really no explanation as to why they dropped it. But I will definitely keep abreast of this long ass story as it develops. I'm like, God damn, is there an end to this article, Daily Mail? But we got to the end. I cut it off because there was still more to go. I was like, Chad, I got the gist. So I'll definitely keep abreast of the story as it develops, but I definitely want to hear from y'all. The gays out here being messy, and we live for it. So I definitely want to hear from y'all regarding this whole situation. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. I hope that black boy got paid. DG will probably pass because he in his 80s, right? Cher said she dated David back in the day and even proposed. Child. Well, it wouldn't be the first time. Diane von Furstenberg married two gay men. She said that she was married twice to the man and shit that recently died. Her recent husband was a homosexual. So these girls know how to look. Y'all like living these lavender marriages? Be my guest. Speaking of lavender marriage, did y'all see that recent red carpet video of JoJo Siwa with her boyfriend? And then everybody was saying it was awkward between them two on the red carpet, and they were trying to say, oh yeah, they wasn't kids because she got lip gloss on. That ain't never stopped any other actor. You could do it like a little pet. But even if they would have did that, they'd have been like, "Oh yeah, well, they would have still critiqued the whole kisses." It felt so damn awkward. I'm tired of that little girl. It's like, girl, go sit your ass down. But I just feel like when y'all brought up lavender marriage, that's immediately where my head went. Yes, secure the bag, sis. Shit, that's what I said. If he gonna go in and if he knew what he was getting out of the situation by going on that website, then you know what you was getting out of it. Get what you need while you getting it. And because he probably thought it was gonna last forever. That's the problem with you young people. Y'all don't think 10 steps ahead. Y'all be in the moment. I'm like, no, you gotta really prioritize y'all shit and be like, just in case this relationship don't last forever. You thought you was gonna be the black ant on the coal. Like you really thought this whole situation was gonna last forever. And that when that man passed, he was gonna get his stuff. And it didn't happen that way. So I would have been putting that money to the side every month. Y'all don't be thinking that way. Anyway, child, let's get into some more mess. And let's talk about T.S. Madison, because Miss Thing been out here, not T.S. Madison, but Jess He-Larious continue trying T.S. Madison. And every time we turn around, this broad just be getting ate up by Maddie, because Maddie got time. And shout out to Maddie. Today is her birthday. I think she's 40. Is she 48, 49? She close to 50. But shout out to Maddie because she a Libra. And yes, today is her birthday because I did see she did birthday. She jumped on YouTube earlier. So I wanted to give that shout out before I forget. So apparently, look, at this point, coming from T.S. Madison in any degree is a masochistic act. If you come for the original doll, you're gonna get dragged into to the ends of the earth and back, and rightfully so. Now, Maddie is a beloved icon, activist, and pillar in this community. Shout out to Queerty for the story, by the way. And the love we have for her can't be unmatched. I do agree. So why does just he not hilarious keep making transphobic, hateful comments about the doll? Who the hell knows? Maybe she's a glutton for punishment. Like they said, she's a masochist. She clearly likes Maddie in her dominatrix outfit coming at her, bending that bitch over and hitting her with the whip. Apparently, she like all of that. So let's keep whipping her. So how this? Well, this is many started. Oh, this has been an ongoing beef where Tia. Jess He Not Hilarious has made a lot of transphobic comments over the years, even tried to clean it up and thinking that she was going to rehabilitate her image by going to that old Queen show, Carlos King, and thought that he was going to kind of clean up her act. But she's so damn stupid that she don't really know how to find a way to do good PR on herself without stepping back in the gutter and showing the true ratchet dingbat that she truly is. So last month, after Snoop Dogg's bizarre comments about being afraid to watch Levitical plus scenes in family films, T.S. Madison rightfully, and many others, I did call them out too, rightly called them out for doing a complete about face. Because recently we did talk about it, and I didn't even think to mention it until she went on social media and mentioned it. She was like, "Can I get an apology?" Because when Snoop Dogg came out and said what he said on that podcast and regarding the fact that he was all freaked out over gay characters being in the Lightyear movie, because he knew which specific audience he could pander that shit to. T.S. Madison came out and said what she said, and then Jess, dumbass, comes on the line and talks about this is about gay women. Why is she speaking on it? First of all, last I checked, since and I don't get how you don't understand this. Bitch got more testosterone. Her voice is deeper than mine, but she don't understand how the queer community works. When you are lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, questioning, and all the other things, two-spirited, all of us is a part of the same community. Yeah, we got our issues and we could do a whole lot better coming together as a community, but for the most part, we're all under the same queer umbrella. And yes, T.S. Madison, as a trans woman, is just a part of the queer community as the gays, the lesbians, the bisexuals, the two-spirited, the questioning, the non-binary, and everybody else in between. So she has a right to speak on a community that she is a part of. But this dumb cisgender cunt don't realize that that's how that works. So she had to come in and say her dumb shit. And every other time, Maddie has to go, out, child, I'm going to have to work tooth and nail to try to get this monetized. All this cussing. But anyway, so Maddie always has to come in and drag her dumb ass every time because she's just a straight up airhead. And this is why I say every time, just because you put a microphone in front of people don't necessarily mean they have the bandwidth to be able to understand basic, logical, common damn sense. And this bitch lacks it. Hence why they had to bring on Lauren LaRosa, because they needed some kind of body with a brain over there with some boobs too. Boobs and brains. So they had to bring in Lauren LaRosa. Because she actually got the sense. Jess is just there for the sake of being there. But anyway, so um and then she told that it wasn't her department. I'm like, and like I already said, it is her department. She's a part of the community. So she could say whatever she wants. And she's defending her community, especially against Black people who always feel the need to discriminate against the queer community when y'all should understand that y'all are being discriminated against too. And I remember somebody said in the comments, they tired of people equating the queer struggle with the Black struggle. Discrimination is discrimination. So you can't evolve and think two things at the same time. That yes, regardless of if somebody's discriminating against you because you're Black and somebody's discriminating you against you're queer, it is a form of discrimination against a marginalized group. That's not something that you can process. But because you got an ideal prejudice against another group of people and you think about bullying them, then they'll take their foot off your neck. I don't know where you thought that, because when they done with them faggots over there, they coming after your nigga ass. Trust and believe. So they said Jess's call out was a strange choice, especially considering what lesbophobia does affect Madison, or that lesbophobia does affect Madison. I didn't even know lesbophobia was a word, and all members of the Levitical Plus community, but the Wild 'N Out alum and Breakfast Club co-host can't seem to help herself when it comes to attacking Madison for no good reason. And Maddie will take every chance she get to get up on that social media and read her ass for a good 30 minutes. And I'll be cackling every time with my imaginary popcorn. So they said this isn't the first time she's come for Madison and used hateful anti-trans rhetoric to do so. Back in 2023, Madison and other trans women called Jess out after she made transphobic comments on a podcast. She said, I've never disrespected you nor come at you publicly, Madison wrote. When you said sideways ish, I don't like, I inboxed you. Why am I saying ish when I've been cussing this whole damn time? It's funny, I try to clean it up some ways and then I'll be going in and other things. And they said, but just continuous bullying of Madison made it possible for her to take the high road, or especially after Jess's latest slight. On a recent, and then this happened this week. So, on a recent episode of The Breakfast Club, Jess asked co-host Charlamagne the Goddess, who I like to call him because I think he a dingbat too, with all that sheen that he be having on his face, who he like to see in a Queens of Comedy showcase similar to the 2001 Kings of Comedy tribute featuring legendary Black comedians. Now, Jess, unfunny ass, probably thought he was going to say her. He said T.S. Madison, because he says she's one of the funniest women on the planet, and that is true. Because if you've ever heard Matt be making me laugh. Between her and Craig, when they be up on Fag Talk, when I be sitting there watching her, oh, trust and believe, I be cackling during a lot of time. She's naturally funny. She don't have to get up there and write stuff on a piece of paper, whatever. She comes out and is just, when you've been anointed and you got that ability, when you got the gift of gab, and some things come out, like I've had one of my class. I do have that gift, because there'd be times when I'd be at work and I was having a conversation with one of my coworkers and they were just like, I'm not laughing at what you say, it's the way you delivering it is funny. And sometimes, like, I have a colorful way of speaking. So when you've got that ability to have the gift of gab and all that other stuff, which Maddie has, yes, a lot of things she says is funny. And she's naturally funny. And I think Jess is mad because she's not funny. She got lucky with the way she's been able to get and all that other stuff. But girl, if you were to sit on stage and give a joke, ain't nobody laughing at that shit. Hence why we call her Jess He-Larious. So yeah, Charlamagne instantly offered up Maddie's name. And then Jess took the opportunity to misgender Madison yet again. When you could have just left it alone. They probably said something or another like, I said, um, I said Queens of Comedy or something or another. And Maddie responded and said, I'm not arguing no bitch that look like Robert Townsend in the face. Sit down, media man. This girl, I say that loosely, needs to take her freak a leak, Petey Pablo looking ass to a pillow and rest, tired ass. And that's what she said. Now that was funnier than anything that came out of that old deep voice having bitch mouth. And I'm not talking about Maddie. I'm talking about Jesse, not Larius. So And like I said, today is Maddie's birthday. She ain't got time to be out here worrying about that broad. She's out here living her best life, but bitch, you're not gonna come out your mouth and say some slick-ish and think you're gonna get away with it. And then she went on to post another tweet. She said, "Them, you a man, you miserable, you ain't got no pussy, misogynistic, you bullying women, you not really happy. I'm writing this paragraph because blah, 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 blah." Meanwhile, me, and they show her at an arcade having a good time. Said, "Moral of the story, worry about your SNAP benefits." And wait, hold on, because I gotta open that up because that was a read about the comment, and I didn't even open up the whole video. She said, "Moral of the story, worry about your SNAP benefits and upcoming Thanksgiving, not about me. At your congressman, don't at me. You voted to hurt us. Now look at you." And it's saying, yeah, because like I said earlier in the show, in passing, y'all SNAP benefits about to get cut. And there's a lot of families that out here hating on the trans, and y'all about to go hungry, and you got to figure out what y'all gonna do this Thanksgiving because a lot of you ain't gonna be able to afford a turkey with them payments you about to get from your regular job. So with y'all SNAP benefits being cut, what y'all gonna do? That's what you need to be worrying about. You need to be acting your senator or your congressman or the retarded ass president, and not atting me with y'all bigotry. Or ask Jess Hilarious to give y'all some coins that she making for the whatever that amount she making at the Breakfast Club. But I came across this TikTok video that I want to play where there was this young lady by the name of Nosy Bystanders that was talking about how creepy Jess Hilarious's or Jess He Not Hilarious's obsession with excuse me with Maddie is getting. So we're gonna play this video and we're gonna come back and we're gonna continue this topic. Please hold.
Disliking trans women this much. Just Hilarious needs to find a new villain in her head. Now, a couple of days ago, Just Hilarious had made a statement in regards to who the audience wanted to see on the next Queens of Comedy.
I want to see though, to be honest, like who would y'all want to see? Maybe we should let
T.S.
them.
Madison.
Oh shit.
Who else? No, that's what somebody said for us.
Nah, we talking about Queens of Comedy, nigga.
Fly
Like
J
stop.
said
They
T.S.
already got a
Madison.
Kings of Comedy. We talking about Queens.
Who? Smiling Lady 77 said Tiffany Haddish.
Queens of Comedy.
Justina Valentine, not no comedian.
Our
Is she?
generation. Queen. No, she not. Queens of Comedy.
Now, there are two things going on in this video. One, Just Hilarious wants the audience to say that they want to see her on the next Queens of Comedy. And two, when Charlemagne the God mentioned T.S. Madison's name, because that's who the audience said that they would like to see on the next Queens of Comedy, Jess inserted that, oh, we're talking about Queens of Comedy, not Kings. But clearly, Charlemagne is reading off the comments from whatever live feed that they were on. I think it was IG or YouTube. And that's what the audience wanted. They would prefer clearly to see T.S. Madison going on tour for comedy, and she's not even a comedian, right? Than to see Jess Hilarious. And by comedian, I don't mean that she's not funny. It's referring to T.S. Madison, she is very funny, but I don't think she actually does stand up. At least if she does, I haven't seen any of it. But the digs about a trans woman just living her normal, regular trans life being at the forefront of Jess Hilarious's head is sending me every time, because I couldn't imagine wasting that much time in my life caring about what trans women do. And mind you, my aunt is trans. She is in her 60s and she has been trans since before the day I was born. She's been trans so much so that I was named after her after she transitioned and changed her name. So every time we get on the internet, we see people bashing the elder trans community, not calling them old, just saying that they are an older generation of trans women, really grinds my gears, because not that many people can say that they have an elder trans individual in their lives in their 60s and 70s today. And that should be something that's celebrated, not ridiculed. I cannot imagine disliking.
Exactly. So shout out to this young lady who goes by Nosy Bystanders on TikTok. I just wanted to play that video so that way y'all be able to see that. But I think what it is with Jess, He Not Hilarious, I just think she's upset because she's dealing with her own traumas. She's upset because people think she's a man. She has a deep voice. She's very masculine like very masculine features. She gives bulldagger tease, and I think she's mad that people keep thinking that she's a man her damn self. So, in order to exercise those demons, I'm going to reflect a lot of that on somebody else. And she's mad because nobody said her name. Well, bitch, when you actually can deliver a joke that everybody is going to collectively laugh at and not just laugh out of pity, then you'll be considered a comedian. But other than that, sit your dumb ass down and just continue to be the donkey of the daily on the daily over at the Breakfast Club. So she gonna keep going on. She gonna keep trying to say what she wants. She kept trying to drive that whole thing. We said Queen of Comedy. We already had the King of Comedy. We said Queen of Comedy. Like she kept trying to drive it. Charlamagne was talking over it, like trying to be like, okay, bitch, you not like you trying to get us to take the bait. We not taking it. And I would love to have T.S. Madison come on the Breakfast Club and them two go at it. I guarantee you, Miss the Thing is gonna wind up running about the room in tears because she'll get scalped live on the air with her. This will be the equivalent of Mark Lamont Hill fighting with that fat motherfucker, the one on what's that show, the Joe Budden podcast, because he can't stand the fact that um Mark is intellectually smarter than him. That he just does way more intellect than he does, and he says big words that just completely goes over his head. That's what just HE-Larious gives. So I like the fact that Maddie said what she said. She keep it in movies. She's gonna live her best life and have her birthday. She's still anointed, having all these things going on. And yes, she's been traveling around the United States doing her little fag talk tour with Craig. And I'm sure that's where she's doing her little funny isms and stuff, where she's, when she's doing that show and making her money and hustling, doing what she got to do, and she's getting all these big deals. And then Jess out here whining, talking about, well, I had opportunities taken away because of some of the things I've said about the trans community, and I'm not anti-trans, but bitch, you keep sticking your foot in your mouth and you keep saying negative things about the trans community. So at some point, it's like, I go by the motto of what Miss Maya Angelou once said: when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. And you've continually showed us over and over who you are, and what you are is you're a miserable ass transphobic bitch. And so there's that. And so I will take Nene Leakes doing the Queens of Comedy before I take some damn Jess HE-Larious. So, in the words of Maya, the singer, whatever, bitch. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding, y'all seen all the context, the clips, all of this stuff? I think I done beat that girl down enough with my imaginary broomstick. So we can move on from that whole situation. But I'm sure this story ain't gonna go nowhere. These two gonna continuously go on at it with each other. And like I've always been very defensive when it comes to my trans brothers and sisters and stuff out here, or any part of the community that's been bullied. I'm gonna continue to hold my stance with that. So of course I am Team Maddie in this situation. And Jesse, now Lavish, you can go over there and play in traffic. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Point. Now, yes, they don't. Can I just say that Jess is so try hard on the Breakfast Club? I watch the clips they post. I don't really. Yeah, here's the thing. I don't really watch the Breakfast Club like that. Like I really got like once she became a part of that show, I really started to step away from the show. I don't even follow them. Like I unfollow them and everything. Every now and again, clips will pop in, or if they do a donkey of the day that really hits in certain situations, I'll give it a gander. I even saw like Cardi B did an interview, and y'all know I love me some Cardi. I didn't even watch the Cardi B interview that she did. That's how much I don't particularly care for them over there. I do watch Lauren LaRosa when she's doing her celebrity gossip stuff. But when they all up in, as I can't even tolerate them. He said, I watch the clips they post every morning while making breakfast, and she's always trying to ask something. That's what I said. Like, it definitely gives that. Like, she just tries to, like, hey, I'm still here. I'm over here. Like, girl, we don't care for you. We just letting you feel like you're a part of something, but you ain't really a part of it. But you just too dumb to not realize it. So we just gonna let you throw in a little, a little word or something every now and again, just so everybody know you in the room. But for the most part, they ain't paying attention to her. Put her input in. I'd rather they replace child, they need to replace Jess with somebody. I thought they was gonna replace her with Lauren LaRosa and just chop her ass. But 4 people on their work. They just need a new girl up in there. So when her contract is up, hopefully they'll get rid of her. And then good luck trying to find a job. Leonard knew exactly what of course he did. Leonard ain't dumb. He tried to play like he obtuse at time. I be catching. I was like, Leonard, I got your number. we definitely see like you try to play the game, but I'm on to you. But like I said, she's so damn stupid because she knows that T.S. Madison is a trigger. She just mad that Maddie is more powerful. Absolutely. Jess also has exactly. She definitely gives masculine, and then I think that's what it is. She's bitter because people have mistaken her for a trans woman. I remember there was a story that came out that I think a guy had hit up on her, like they said, like an athlete or somebody in the industry, and there's a lot of them running around here that are tranny chasers. Let's call it what it is. That's what they are. They are tranny chase, or shout out to RuPaul because he made a song about it. Or what do they call or as we call, well, no, we call the people that go after drag race girls race chasers, so we can't say that. Yeah, there was somebody that was and they thought Jess Hilarious was a man giving feminine situations. There's a lot of these men running around in the industry, and come to find out, no, that's an actual cis woman. And that's why I don't understand why a lot of black women are anti-trans, because no shade, there's a lot of black women out here who kind of give that masculine energy. They have a lot of those masculine features, and they get discriminated against. We've heard stories about how, like, especially with this transphobic rhetoric that this current administration has been throwing around, that there's men who go around and they get indoctrinated with all this craziness, and they go in. I went and they went and unalived someone because they thought that they were transgender, and that was a cisgender woman. So you went and killed a woman, a biological woman, because your prejudices, you couldn't get beyond it. So there's that. Who child, I'm going to have to cleanse myself of that damn story. So let's get into some more homosexual news. Our final topic. Let's talk about Grindr. So apparently the gays and gays are saying sashay away to Grindr because of one specific reason, and it's not with all the catfishing and stuff that's going to, or the fact that they've been talking about lately. That a lot of these young boys and stuff is getting up on Grindr catfishing, like making it seem like they want to meet up only to beat up and rob other homosexuals. So that ain't one of the reasons it should be, but they said over the last year, Grindr has been dulled into a decaf ad-ridden version. Oh yeah, that's been getting on my damn nerves because like when and I still have Grindr, so every now and again I go on there and I want to see like what's a popping, what's a doing, who's on there and stuff. And I cannot tell you, like I could just be scrolling for 2 seconds. There's always an ad that gotta pop up, so you gotta close it out, open it back up. Then the ads keep popping up because they want people to start paying to use the app. So Grindr is increasingly becoming a tiered experience where one needs to fork over $14.99 for a week of extra just to see their taps. Yet we still partake in the scheme to milk engagement. Despite the burgeoning popularity of I ain't gonna hold you. I'm on sniffies too, as well as its Y2K cruising gear. Grindr remains ubiquitous. The company says it has nearly 15 million active monthly users across the world. Out of those roughly 15 million, about 1.1 million pay. Like, damn, that's like how do you have 15 million, but only not even 2 million people are paying? Like, that's a low number. Like other dating hookup apps, Grindr has struggled converting users into customers. Well, why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? Like Grindr was never a pay, it never was like a thing we paid for. Now you're trying to ask people for money? Like, make it make sense. That's because the free version, for all its faults, still works. Yes, it may be irritating, grating, and constricting, but there are, sorry, still avatars to message. Unpaid for Grindr is a borderline unusual app in 2025, but it does technically work just fine for free users, says Mashable. Well, it appears that Grindr guards are stripping away the few free goodies remaining. On Twitter, a popular femboy, what a fun phrase, complained about the latest update. Here's a DL. It's over. The new Grindr update makes it effectively a paid app to use at all, they write. You can only see 18 profiles now, and there's no way to ever see the same 18 over and over again. They end with a eulogy. RIP to the app, had a good run. Well, maybe this is to be a way for y'all to go back to the way we used to do things back in the day, which is let's run out to bars and things and meet people the old fashioned way, the bar, the gym locker room, a library. Are there any more tea rooms? Or am I dating myself? Now, they said for journalistic purposes, this humble writer logged into his own Grindr account to check out the poster's claim and had better luck. But apparently, that's because my filters aren't set. Anybody who wants to customized experience must pay the digital toll. You have to turn off filters. They only let you see 3 with them on unless you pay. I did confirm the free Explore feature no longer exists. If you want to lay the seeds for your next trip or just peek at men in a different city of privilege, it costs $2.14 a day. Child, you don't know your damn mind. Gays and theys were aghast at Grindr's latest desecration. One person said, so Grindr's just completely unusable now. Another person said, how do they make it worse? Then another person said, I paid for it for a minute and it's riddled with bots, not to mention ads for its own products, which seems like it should be illegal when you're paying for no ads. It's absolutely fucking terrible. Well, I'm glad you told us that. So now we know what we're getting, even if you got our money, you took our money. Another person said, sounds like a golden opportunity to spin up a new gay hookup app. Another person said, deleted Gay Orange app, haven't drank in 3 weeks, going to gym every day, eating my 5 a day, and tracking water intake, watching documentaries on ocean liners every evening at work. Dull men's club era, apparently. Okay. Now, as previously explained, hate posting about Grindr and actually deleting one's account are very different things. Over the last several years, the digital experience has gotten worse across the board, a phenomenon known as N-shitification. What does that even mean? As internet companies focus more on profit, they worsen the user's experience. But after 15 years of app-induced conveniences, Uber, DoorDash, Grindr, we can't quit. Well, speak for yourself, because there's other apps out there besides Grindr. There's Scruff. There's sure other apps, and then I'm sure there'll be some tech gay that'll create an alternative where it's like, yeah, you don't need to pay money just to be bombarded with ads. So paying $14.99 for a week of Grindr Extra is akin to paying $28.87 for soggy tacos on Uber Eats. That is a ripoff. Why am I paying $15 for 7 days of Grindr? Fuck out of here. Like, I can understand if you was talking about $14.99 a month, but a week? Oh, y'all lost your mind. Jamie Wu, who literally wrote the book on Grindr, 2013's Meet Grindr, How One App Changed the Way We Connect, says we're all signing up for the basic economy experience. Grindr provides a way for people to conveniently and with very low stakes meet a wider range of people low stakes, literally. In that way, it is very much like door dashing. That's for that $42 burrito, and allowing us to have that basic economy experience. He previously told Queer T, we want just the slimmest experience of hooking up from this app. As long as any profiles remain on the grid, the slim chance still exists. Well, I haven't used Grindr in a month of Sundays. Like every now and again, yeah, I'll run up on there and I'll just take a gander to see what they're doing. I barely use Grindr to hook up. Child, let me tell you something. I have found more hookups on Facebook and Instagram. Like when you DM, that's where I've been usually doing that. It's like, fuck a Grindr. Who needs Grindr when there's so many other creative ways that y'all could go about y'all hookups and meeting people? You don't necessarily need Grindr for that. Grindr is tired. And plus, we be hearing so many horrible horror stories regarding Grindr. So who needs Grindr when there's so many alternatives? I ain't spilling all the tea on this YouTube channel because we don't need people invading such places. But there's many aware places that you can hook up. I see you in the comment section, Sailor Mermaid. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? If you know what I'm saying, I think you do. He and I are having a little private conversation. So I'll say all this all to say, what do you think of this story? Are y'all still out here using Grindr? Or you like one of those people is like, okay, I'm over it anyway. In hell, I'm spending $14.99 a damn week for some freaking grinder, only for them to be giving me some half-ass whatever, and not even the greatest experience. And I'm bombarded with bots and freaking ads and all that other crap. So yeah, I definitely want to hear from y'all. Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Cole Sweet says, I feel a man should not beat up a woman verbally. And who's the man that's beating up a woman verbally? If that's me talking about Jess Hilarious, then she shouldn't be out here going in on people in the community. I don't give a good goddamn what your gender is. Everybody gets a beating equally. Man, woman, child, infant, whoever. I don't play into that whole everybody gets like, oh, you have to handle somebody with kid gloves because of, oh, they're a woman and this, that, and the other. You don't get to cherry pick your race and your gender and all the other stuff because of, nope, we ain't doing that. I'm the type of petty that I don't give a good goddamn. You come in my face, I'm cussing you out until you gonna wish you wasn't a part of this planet. So it said, I downloaded Grindr again. I can't do anything on that app. Why would I pay for a frustrating app? He said that and the constant crashing and updates. Yeah, sometimes I can't send messages because it says a lot. It says I lost wireless connection. What? He said because it says I lost wireless connection, but I still have show. I'm over it. You said I ain't paying for shit. You and me both. That's what I said. Don't be telling yeah, don't be y'all be telling all our gay business. That's why I stopped talking because I was like, mm. He said, listen, they even be using sniffies over the. You know exactly what I was. Oh, speaking of which, I got a text that my gym opened back up because Blink is no longer Blink. It's now known as was it Pure Fitness? So the Chelsea location ended up closing because they had to do construction. Like they had to go and put all kinds of stuff up in there and hook it up and all that mess. So I was going to the 42nd Street one. Child, why have I've been missing out on that one. First of all, the men look way better over there. The bodies be bodying. There's way more equipment. So I started going over to that one. I heard they just reopened it today, so I might go there this weekend. But I'm so in love with the machines and everything that's at the Bryant Park location. I think I'm gonna continue to go over there at that one. I remember when I had found out because I went to the movies. I was gonna go to after a haircut. I was gonna go to the gym. I was thinking about going to the 42nd Street one, but then I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna just go to the one on 52nd and 54th and Second. That place looked worse than the other one. They have half the places covered in black garbage bags, and it was like unusable. And they doing construction there, and people working. I was like, oh hell no, I ain't coming back here. He said, and I feel a grown ass woman can be responsible for her own damn self. Hello. And you said I saw when I was walking down. Wait, at 40, yeah, the 42nd Street Bryan Park one is so much nicer in that one. It's a lot more space, a lot more equipment. I am curious to see like what they did with the makeover at the one on in the Chelsea one, which they just reopened that one today. And I think I'll take a gander in there sometime soon. But right now, I'm in love with the Bryan Park gym, so I'm gonna just stick with that one for a while. And when I'm ready to be like, okay, let me just go over to this other one real quick, then I'll go in there a day. But he said, never mind, you said it. I miss that place at Bryan Park. What stories you gonna tell? They be giving no shade, but they be giving shows in that one. But that's all I'm gonna say on that. And do you know they have a new horror movies streaming service? I said I'm not subscribing to no more streaming services. Y'all doing the most. So they got a new horror movie streaming service called Bloodstream, which I was like, I'm curious enough to check out the stuff over there. But it's like y'all have way too many streaming services. I can't keep giving money to stuff. I'm paying for enough streaming services as it is. But anyway, um looks like we are oh, you said nothing crazy happened over there. I'm going. All right, y'all. So it looks like we're at the end of the show. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. If you have not already, please do me a solid and hit that like button, smash that notification bell, hit that subscribe button, all that good stuff. Definitely helps out with the show and the algorithm and pushing it out there for more people to check out this mess of a show. I will be back on tomorrow with a brand new episode of the show. Then after that, I'm back to being busy again. So I'm trying to squeeze in as many shows as I can until, everything happens with, because, it's getting busy with this, the season, everything is starting and stuff with the live entertainment. I mean, I was busy I've been like getting busier, and I'm not complaining. But trying to balance the real life job with this show, it's a lot, but it's worth it. And it's what I love to do. So yeah, I'll be back on tomorrow with a brand new episode, Lord willing, if there's a lot of good topics that we could talk about. So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for being messy on this 3.5 hour show with me, because that's how much we did today. And yeah, love you all for watching. Thank you all for your continued support. And until next time, ciao, darlings.